Hey, welcome back to Métropole Grid. My name is Andre. Thanks so much for tuning in. It is the 8th of June, 2023, year of our Lord. And I'll let you in on a little secret here. This stream is illegal. So we're going to have to be pretty quiet so nobody hears us. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Hopefully you're doing well. It's a weird time, I'll be honest. We'll talk about it later. But yeah, there's some bummer Twitch news, which is a problem. It's not great. Just not great. Okay, in short, we'll lead with this. So classically on this channel, we have been simul streaming. So the stream right now is up with, I think, maybe 1 second delay, maybe between some Montreal smoke beat. That's a probably pretty useless joke, Aaron. How's it going? So we're simul streaming to Twitch and YouTube at the same time, right? So if you're in chat, you see restream.bot popping up to show you the people who are chatting in the other community, right? And we have a pretty good viewership across the both channels, right? Classically, the rules at Twitch were that if you were not an affiliate is something that you get offered on a very basic level as long as you have like some very minimum KPIs, right? Like, I don't know, it's something we were offered many moons ago, but we denied it because classically, if you were an affiliate, you basically were swearing allegiance to Twitch itself, and you weren't allowed to do the thing that we're doing right now, which is simulcasting to 2 channels. As of 2 days ago, if not only 1 day ago, maybe, Twitch has done a massive change to their terms of service. And largely the conversation regarding the change in terms of service was largely controlled by the fact that they changed how streamers could present ads and could monetize themselves outside of the Twitch environment. And we're not going to talk too much about that. In short, what they said was ridiculous and pretty tone deaf, and it had a very basic misunderstanding of how Twitch is used, and people were very upset and were already like saying, okay, we're going to walk off this channel. I'm going to go sign somewhere else because it didn't make sense. It was hurting people right in their wallet, and that's not good. So they backed that stuff up. They said that they're going to cancel that stuff and redo it, and they apologized, whatever. But another part that they changed in terms of service is you're just no longer allowed to simul stream on Twitch, even if you're not making any money off of Twitch. This is something that's come up for a while now, is you can't subscribe. You can't hit that sub button. You can't get that Twitch Prime. We have no emotes. We have no channel points. We have none of the cool Twitch integration on this channel because we're not affiliated, because if we were affiliated, it's against the terms of service. But as of now, you're no longer allowed to simul stream, period, on Twitch, even if you're making no money from the gig. Which puts me in a really awkward situation because this stream technically is illegal. I think the punishment for doing something like this is you can just get your channel banned, which is a really weird thing to be like the punishment for streaming on our channel is you're not allowed to stream on your channel. It's very weird. So not a lot of conversation goes on here because the amount of people that this affects are generally like really small content creators, right? Like this hurts most Netrunner streamers that are simul streaming. But on top of that, it really damages other hobbyist streamers. Like I watch people who stream small time for stuff like, I don't know, Marvel Snap or like Marvel Champions, Arkham Horror, all this sort of stuff. Like there's huge communities of people who are just streaming to small audiences on both channels to like dedicated people who care about, you know, a niche thing like Netrunner. Thanks so much for showing up here. I absolutely love every Thursday night. Hopefully you do too. So from this point on, what we're doing here, we can't continue to do like this. So we have to figure out what we want to do, whether we want to just be like, okay, we'll keep doing this until eventually maybe we get banned and then we'll just be YouTube only, or whether we alternate between the two. There's like just no good answer to this because we have an audience that exists on both platforms, and there's some really good parts of being on both platforms for engagement, for, you know, discoverability, for all that sort of stuff. So it's bad, and I honestly do not know what to do. I know we talked about this like many moons ago, again, talking about like if we went to only Twitch, we could just stream on Twitch and we could do like channel points and like make a whole community thing out of it. But exactly, I guess if they ban you, it makes your choice easy. That's like the part that's like so nonsense to me, is like the punishment is they make the decision that we just don't interact with them, right? Like it's like there is no punishment if we end up deciding to go to YouTube. And I'll be honest, YouTube is winning that conversation. If we have to decide to be only streaming on one channel, it would largely be YouTube by default because they don't have shitty policies like this. So yeah, that's where it is right now. And I honestly don't know what to do. If you have any feedback, I'm going to catch up on chat because I've obviously been monologuing for a bit. But yeah, that's where it is right now. And it's like a really ugly spot to be at because I've been doing this streaming stuff for a long time. And we've been building up both the communities, and I'm super stoked to be able to, you know, to have people on Twitch or on YouTube, whatever they want to do. And as simple as it is, even if you say like, we're only be streaming on YouTube, follow on YouTube, like a bunch of people just won't engage that way, unfortunately, because YouTube streaming on your mobile is not great unless you pay for it. It's like, yeah, it's not great. Great evenings for some Netrunner X run. How's it going? IXWT, how's it going? Hey, Eric. Shh. Getting watched live for the first time in a while. Yeah. Neon's Dyke, love your cast. Hey, cheers. We always knew you're a criminal, Janktivist. That's the thing. Like, I don't know. Other people are running into this. Like, Yusengren last night, I think, streamed exclusively to YouTube. I don't know what he's going to continue to do going forward, but like, it's really weird. Hey, Izzy. That's symbolics, it really is. Hey, Kat. Cybernetic Snaps, how's it going? Welcome to the channel. So you're saying this is a pirate broadcast from an undisclosed location? That sucks though. Yeah, it largely is. Like, I don't know what to do. It's really frustrating. Since you don't get fancy Twitch stuff, do you want to get more benefit from YouTube watchers? It's not so much about benefit, because like the way that this channel is monetized is almost entirely through Patreon. For what it's worth, on YouTube, you can like do super chats and stuff like that, which has some sort of monetary benefit that's split between me and YouTube. I also make ad revenue. All the content does get like basic pre-roll ads put onto it generally after the stream is live, and all the video content does. So YouTube does send me, for what it's like $60, $70 a month, depending on how much content I put out. So I'm getting no money off of Twitch. So like that, if it's a financial decision, like they're not winning that. But like so much of what we've done on this channel has not been like financially motivated. It's just like, I want to make content that a lot of people can watch, can enjoy, can experience. It's easy for them to stumble upon it, share it. And like, we're just closing our scope in, which like, yucks. Patreon to get 100 credits so you can beat the trace. Solomir, how's it going? We actually are playing Crim tonight for sure. We are going to do that. Yeah, Koba, how's it going? I extremely vote UT because the streams stay. Yeah, the streams stay no matter what, right? But yeah, even if I was just streaming exclusively on Twitch, I would put the VODs up on YouTube. But like, again, it's so weird that they're making the decision for me to leave their platform so easy. It's so easy. It's like unfortunate, but like there's just so many reasons why it doesn't make sense to like exclusively stream to the one channel that like it's kind of, you know, it's not great. Melias, yo, how's it going? How's it going, Paul? All right, with that out of the way, let's get some Netrunner. There's a lot of news this week. We have a deck list of the week that's Startup. I feel like it's been a minute since we haven't played Startup on the channel. It's a Matroyshka Esâ deck, so you get that Sabotage. How's Esâ been in Startup? Because like Esâ has become kind of in vogue on in Standard, and Esâ has been converting pretty well. I feel like the lists in Standard are actually very, very close to what they are in Startup. I think the one big difference off the top of my head is that we have access in Standard to the bin breakers, which are these breakers that pair really well with wanton damage from Esâ. The idea is that if you're playing Banhar, and this deck is only on one, and so like trying to figure out whether you want to go full into Banhar, slightly into Banhar, I think is something that all Anarchs are kind of discovering on their own. But the idea is that when we take core damage, when we take net damage, it's really easy in Standard, where we have cards that are on their own very good, great to okay. Cards like Paperclip, MK Ultra, and Black Orchestra, which are all breakers that you can install when you're encountering the appropriate piece of ice, but you can install them from your heap. So it's no longer a program you have to hold in your hand and worry that you're going to lose to damage. You don't have to pre-install it before, and if you don't even need it. And that's a really big difference between Startup and Standard. Obviously, the whole meta is slightly different, but I think that's one of the biggest differences between Esâ within and without Startup. So I've been sleeping on Banhar. It's great. It seems so good. It really seems like a very powerful card. The way that works with Hippo is very interesting, and it's just the sort of like tool that says like, you can't rush us out. Your ice subroutines are generally going to be more interesting or more important than net damage. And I don't know, people are just playing like 50, 60 card Hoshiko decks. They don't even care. So whatever. Doing fine. Thanks. Hope you're doing well. Hey, cheers. It's easy for you who's small and isn't trying to make a living off streaming, but for folks trying to go at full time and grow their community, this totally sucks. Yeah. So like, I watch a couple of people that like, you know, are either at the point where they're just about to be able to like full-time stream. And so they're doing stuff specifically where they're, you know, working on two things, and they're, you know, using both platforms for the ways that they succeed. And right now Twitch is like, I don't know, for me, it's not like a huge career problem, if you want to consider it like that, but there's definitely a lot of people where this is going to be much worse for, but it is a bummer. Does Banhar not work with Hippo? It doesn't work with Hippo, but the idea is that a lot of times people are going to put like, so Banhar is not the outermost ice, it's the first ice, right? So the way that you play around Hippo generally is you have your good ice on the second piece or innermost on a server, and then you put some bad ice in front of it, right? So that when they Hippo, they can only Hippo that ice if you res it. And the thing is like Banhar punishes that, because Banhar forces them to really want to res the ice in front of their good ice, which means then you can hippo that and get in, right? So they just don't work well. They work in a very interesting way in the runner's favor, but inherently, yes, they don't interact with each other technically. So like the idea is that one of the best cards in standard, one of the strongest Anarch cards is hippo. I think is the only 5 influence hardware in the format in standard because endurance is banned. And it says the first time you break all subroutines on the outermost piece of ice during a run each turn, you may remove hippo from the game to trash that ice. So you'll notice a lot of corporations are going to put their best ice not on the outermost, and then they'll just put an ice in front of it and never res that ice because that ice is the outermost and you don't break it if it's not resed. So the way that people play around Banhar and hippo, they fight each other. It's really cool. It's really cool. As much as like Banhar obviously doesn't break subroutines. Yeah. Having cut hippo because I had Banhar, you still want hippo. It's really good. I think you want both. I don't think you see a lot of Esâ decks that are on hippo because they're not like real big engines that are trying to get a lot of runs very cheaply. It's more so like targeted runs. But yeah, if you're playing like 3 hippo in your, you know, every single Hoshiko deck with Banhar, yeah, I think you do for sure. Banhar is basically Faust with a cheaper upfront cost and it ignores strength. It is kind of like that. Obviously, you don't have full control, but that's like the bottom line of this card. Like what this card inherently does is very unfair. It's a very powerful effect, more accurately. There's obviously differences between Faust. Faust, you can choose the cards. This is a bit more random. Understanding how good this card is going to be in standard upon the rotation of the bin breakers, which will rotate when the next set comes out later this summer, hopefully, is going to be a really big deal. It's going to shake up a lot of Anarch stuff. But right now, taking random damage from hand as an Anarch is sometimes genuinely a good thing for you, if not fine. It's not like you can play this in Criminal very easily when you have breakers that don't come back. Otherwise, though, this list has what you'd expect it to have. We're on Ghost Tongue and Marrow, of course. So Ghost Tongue means all our 23 events cost 1 less. So they all are very, very fire. We're only on 1 running hot. I love 3 of these. This card just feels so good because Esâ, mind you, the first time core damage, you get a draw 2 and gain a card, or draw 2. Sorry, sabotage to draw a card. And then you have everything else you want to expect. 2 pinhole threading. You don't often see this in the standard versions because it's hard to hold this card in hand. I do think pinhole threading is still as good in startup as it is in standard. And we have 6 Matroyshka, which I think is the interesting thing. So we actually have real breakers, and these are breakers that you can lose to damage. You're not going to need all 6 of them, but you generally want to just install one of these. The cool thing about Matroyshka, though, is once you install the first one, it just takes a click to host the other copies and it's free. So it's actually not that hard to install your first Matroyshka, and then you find a second or third Matroyshka. You just host them for a click before you take the core damage that could trash the Matryoshkas. So I think this is really cool. And the cool thing about Matryoshka is that, well, inherently in startup, the Anarch Breaker Suite's a bit weird. They don't have a killer that feels like it makes a lot of sense. They have some really efficient decoders and really efficient fractors, but they're very bad at high strength stuff. And Matryoshka isn't the most efficient breaker. It's definitely not bad. But the idea with Esâ and hopefully with Botulist and then Banhar, which mind you is still only a 1-up in the deck, we might be able to land our Chestushkas and our Finalities and then make very targeted runs while we're doing sabotage in the background. So it's not like we have to make, you know, the 15 to 14 runs that a normal runner does. We can play in a bit of a different way, but this is not gonna feel that different than standard, which is cool. If you're playing Esâ in startup and you want to play standard, let me tell you, the deck doesn't really change. It's more so much what the corpse can do change around you if you'll figure out how that works. 3 Nuka, I love it. I love Nuka. Nuka's so good in Esâ, like it. So there's only 5 games online today, so it might be a bit tricky to find a match. I don't know what's going on this Thursday. It was like E3 technically earlier, pseudo Jeff Keighley E3, if y'all watched that. But yeah, Matroyshka, Marty. Oh, we'll get through this one. Okay, here we go. Startup Esâ Fontov. Here we go. Banhar ignoring strength is so big, makes it generally a more click efficient breaker than a program. Oh, it's way more efficient. Like, that was the big thing. So a lot of people compare this card to Faust, and Faust is one of the most powerful cards of all time in Netrunner. And it was banned for a bit. And then funny enough, it came back. And the time it came back, nobody played it. Because Faust is a card that breaks all ice. It's an AI, so it doesn't care what subroutine, it just breaks subroutines. But its fuel is specifically cards. So a card for 2 strength, a card for break a subroutine. Back in the day, and if you look on this channel on YouTube, you'll find some old videos where you see wild Faust decks, is that card draw was very common, but let alone you had very cheap ice destruction, and you also had other cards that dealt with high ice. The ice that was particularly hard to Faust through. Things like David, were a 3 power counter solution to break 3 subroutines on massive ice. So you had this breaker suite that didn't sweat the small stuff, could fast through the medium stuff, and then you got through for free the big stuff, and it was really, really, really powerful. It is kind of feels like Endurance, where like the meta warped around it, where you had to deal with it, and you saw ice suites entirely changed based off of playing more ice that was more efficient into David, or into Faust specifically. But once all those packages left, Faust kind of left. Like Faust got banned and came back, and then there just wasn't enough good card draw, and like there was also not. And this didn't come up that often, but there was a card classically in Netrunner that allowed you to just shuffle your stack back into your heap, which means if you ever ran out of cards, there were some Faust decks that ran 2 levies and just said, I'm going to go again. Every turn, draw 5, run. And yeah, you can't do that no more. Yeah, Levy was kind of important. Not every deck ran Levy. Like, I don't even know if the basic, like, good stuff wizard decks ran Levy, if I don't remember. But I remember playing, like, Quetzal decks with, like, quality time and, like, 2 levies. And we're just drawing as much as we can. I made the standard. Shh, we can do that again. Let's go. Yeah, Wildside was the big one. Wildside said, oh, hey. This guy plays Startup. This is Whiteblade. This is Eric Keelback. You might know from that one podcast, let alone all the cards and all the tournaments. So this is like standard or worse. I don't know. It's got boat, so you can really go. PD is really good, and I'm glad we have pinhole threading in this. I think this deck is not running Light the Fire, so like the sort of anoetic remote server we're expecting doesn't work so well. But Whiteblade is going to definitely be some stiff competition. Our opening hand here with the Chestushka, I think Eric's going to respect the Chestushka pretty hard. The Marrow's okay. If we hit the Steelskin, like we might just dirty laundry R&D, install the Marrow, and then go from there. I think we can definitely keep this hand. The one Banhar is like, again, I think it's such a good card that you probably want to run 3 of it because it means that we can contest an early remote server. Not that Startup has like Rashida or anything that's that important to trash that soon, but yeah, we'll keep this. I think we might be seeing some of the bigger eyes as well. Yeah, I don't think Eric plays a lot of Startup, so maybe he'll be a bit out of his element. All right, there's the Chestushka respect that you're expecting. Is PD similar to standard PD? I think it's very similar to. This is one of the decks that's not that different between formats. Your access to ice is the big thing though, because in standard you have like, you know, Gatekeeper, Architect, Hagen, and in standard or in Startup you mostly have like, you still have the big Byroids that showed up in System Gateway, but then you have like Harmonics. Like I'm not actually sure what the ice suite is in this. I know who posted when Rotom I think posted a PD deck. And it had like, what's it called in it? The Disibirsk City Grid. Yeah, okay. That's interesting. So here, what's our turn? I feel like we're not zoomed in enough. Yeah, that's about right. So here, that's good to get. Because again, we also don't know the ice suite or the agenda suite. Might actually be on send a message, which some of these lists sneak in. I think we're going to start with the Marrow. So we hit the creative. That's probably the worst hit in our hand here. A Finality is really good as much as we don't want to play it this turn. Trash 2 from HQ. So I think there's some good reason to run HQ. What punishes us on HQ here? What's the bad face check on HQ? Like there's no Fairchild 3. If it's an on sell, we could click through the trash thing. I think we can just face check here, right? I think we can just face check. Like he threw out 2 cards there. I don't know how bad the face check could be here. Like a Roto Turret. Oh, wow. That's great. That's good. This is where we love the creative commission last click. We don't have it. Let's just keep drawing. That's good. But he spent a lot. I think his hand is 2 agendas. I didn't see that Eric mulligan because he just ripped 2 from hand off the sabotage. He kept. Okay. So we don't know what this card is. On 3 credits, I'd be a bit surprised if he can res it. We have no economy in the hand, so we want a Ghost Tongue and ideally hit the Steelskin. No. We have one of these, and like I don't know if we're going to be able to afford that. 2 cards on the top of R&D. So Archives is brand new. We have 6 hand size, of course. It's good that we also got this one down early. That's our last click. So I think we can draw once more. We can run Archives. We actually probably shouldn't have drawn. We could have just played Steelskin in like immediate hindsight because that's just a click for 3 cards. So here I'm just going to draw because I don't want to over discard. No, we'll hit this. Yeah, we should do it because we can just, oh no, then we can't check. Yeah, we'll just check. Whoa, Nightmare Archives and Hendrix. So this is different. Brawn is the big stuff here. So here we're going to take the core. We don't want to take the core damage here. Ideally, we want to take the core damage. So this means that he's probably on ontological dependence, which is a really big problem for us because it's now a 2/2 agenda. So I think we take the core damage here. We don't get our ability because we already taken core damage. So I think we're going to just take the area. I hate that. If we knew that he was on some core damage, we definitely would have checked before. Maybe, I don't think we would check before playing Ghost Tongue. But the problem now, ontological is definitely in the deck. So I don't think I was expecting that in every PD deck. All right, well, we need to get some money. We're not expecting tags, so no free lunch is a click for 3 credits. That allows us to play Sure Gamble. So what's the rest of our turn here? Getting one of these down is kind of important, so I think we will, and then we'll just play creative, and then next turn we'll draw up. But we're on 0 points. Road, I'm not sure about that guy. Government subsidies, 16 credits, so we're assuming that's either a Spin Doctor or probably a Regolith. Maybe it's a Nightmare Archives, but we'd be pretty happy with that. So I think we can draw, run it. Pinhole is going to be okay at some point. But I think he's going to just like batten down the hatches here and then just like fast advance from hand. So we need to figure out how to get good axes with Toll Booth. So we just need to get a Botchless on it. I think we have 3 of them. So there was Brawn and Unseen. So I do think he's just going to kind of bunker up. Let's keep drawing. It's a lot of influence shown. I guess so. Not really. Elevagao, okay, Sabotage 1. Because of the Marrow. That's not too much influence, right? Like, it's just Hansei and... Oh, Planogram. So did 1 from HQ. Okay. We really need to get into HQ sooner than later, so I think here we just have to draw up. Government subsidy is interesting, maybe big deal. It might be, but I do think like the Ice Suite in HB and Startup is like really weird unless you have a lot of money. And there's not a lot of good asset support, so a lot of the decks are just running like Planogram, Hansei, all that sort of stuff. But I'm assuming like if you're playing Toll Booth, like we saw Brand, we saw some other stuff. Yeah, no worries. That there's a chance that is just like big ice. Yeah. We can land a Shestushka as soon as we get another copy of Matryoshka. We can just draw up. Oh, that's amazing. That's a really, really good draw because that's going to scare him. Now we have to get this down before we end our turn. Otherwise it doesn't do anything next turn. So once we install this, he'll probably double ice HQ and he has to res the ice. So we can draw once more. Oh, wow. I think we just do both of these. So now we actually can break a 2 ice server. We also, I think there's a big chance he's also on Biotic Labor, so that might be a big reason to have that sort of government subsidy money. Like, I wouldn't be surprised now, because his deck has 3 3/2s and then 4 3/2s. So we could lose in like 3 to 4 turns, depending on bad draw, if it's not like full Glacier. But I know Eric has like been really fascinated with like just full fast event stuff. Oh, good. I got a second doll and Banhart. Yeah, so we can maybe land Shestushka here if we're lucky. But otherwise, I don't know. Did your deck have an answer to the door? 19 credits. Okay, you see, that's a respect. So we could Finality here. I think Finality is probably fine. I think we do just Finality here. I think we can just like Sure Gamble Finality. The worst case scenario, we hit the Shestushka. But like this is going to be massive. This costs us 7 to go through. I don't think we want to do that. Let's just get some accesses in. If we steal the Ontologicals too, it's huge. It's just really big, and that's a really good card to check R&D. So now whatever's resed here, like we might take 3 net damage. Oh, it's just a wave. Unfortunately, he drew a bloop. Okay, so we can either take a net damage here, or we can pay 2. I think we'll pay 2. I think these cards in our hand are worth 2. But we're going to see a lot of cards here. And he took a ice out of the deck. It's a Brave Streamer. Yeah, at least once. There's another bloop coming up, a Magnet. So now he can res the bloop, mind you, because the wave. An Echo, Ontological. That's a good 1 steal. So there's 2 more in the deck, and mind you, this is a 2/2. So the top of the deck was bloop into Echo into wave. So I do think he's just going to ice up everything, which is a problem. We don't have Cleaver, which in the format deals with Echo really well. We do have Hush, don't we? Oh, we don't even have Hush. Hush blanks Echo. It's really good. So here, we can't get through the Toll Booth, so I don't think we want to raindrops this turn. Let's just keep drawing through our deck. Where did he Sabo from? Top of R&D. Okay, let's just go check those. It's a bit ugly to check in now. We know he doesn't have a Spin Doctor coming up, so I think we just continue to draw. And we can just Botchless this. Because if we check now, we hit a Nightmare Archives, we can't choose to take the core damage, and if we choose to take the core damage, Esâ triggers. So we want to kind of plan that turn out. We know there's not a Spin Doctor coming up or any other sort of protection. Raindrops and Archives, I don't think we're in a rush to. Oh, well, Toll Booth is gone. Now we can do it. Forgot how bad YouTube Mobile is for non-premium people. Also not paying the CC and checking Archive surprised me. Not paying the CC. What's CC? Yeah, I didn't want to check Archives because I know there's, what's it called? Nightmare there. So Matryoshka flips. Banhar, I think we can do archives. So he drew, so that could easily be a bloop or an, it's more likely to be a wave. Or sorry, the echo, right? So I think we could always get HQ in. If we Chestushka, he knows the top next card on R&D is clean, so it's not great time to do Chestushka. Let's go archives. So we'll draw once, because if it's a bloop, we could die. Okay, that's good. Oh, it is a bloop. Wow. I didn't think it would be the bloop. So we're going to let that fire. These are just net damage subroutines. If he reses the wave to, it's not, is it optional? Is wave optional? Because like he can shuffle the deck. So we got 3 power counters. You see, there was the Nightmare Archives. Oh, we can't take the core damage because we have no cards in hand. But yeah, that's what we were playing around. You break 1 sub? Oh, Creative Commission, okay. So here I would love to take the core damage. Unfortunately, it flatlines us. So we maybe could have broken 1 sub. It's okay, we're gonna draw up. So we just can't take that, unfortunately. Okay, so 11 credits. Oh, we have that, that's good. We haven't taken a core damage so far, so I think we can install our Matryoshka, then running hot. I want to wait though, because he knows the top card of R&D is like totally safe. Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah, if we thought there was a Nightmare Archives there, which is kind of unlikely because he ripped 2 off at the top of R&D, as much as we were playing around it, yeah, we could have considered breaking 1. However, it's expensive. It's 4 credits. Okay, so in HQ, he drew. So he has 2 unknowns in HQ. So I think we want to put the pressure there. I think we can just run HQ here. I don't think we start with, if we start with a running hot, it's actually not that bad. We have 13 credits, right? I think we could steal skin. Otherwise, no, we could, yeah, let's start with this one. I'm not sure what the right ordering is here. All right, Chestushka's there. The top of R&D is unknown, so he did 2 from HQ. So I think we want to run HQ normally. We want to get an access. This deck, mind you, doesn't have Docklands, Passage, or Legwork, which are, I think at least Legwork is a pretty big staple in the standard versions. And I like it a lot just because there's a huge chance that we actually win if we land a Legwork here on the basis that like he generally throws out the non-agenda cards, right? We have 6 clicks too, so like we can click through a Brawn or an on-sell if we find one. So we'll see. Yeah, Echo. So we're just gonna take a net damage off of that. We just don't want it to hit the Botulus or the Chestushka. Yeah, okay, we could have considered breaking that. Not resing. Biotic. Shit, yeah, I would love a Legwork there. A Legwork would have been so good. So we know that's a wave on R&D. In terms of what we have in our deck, we have no recursion and we have no more finalities. That's a big difference also with standards. You have a bit of recursion as much as you could play Katurga. And I don't think we are playing Katurga. But like we have very little multi-access from this point forward. We have very little multi-access. It's just the sabotage stuff. So that's fine. So I think we do. We probably do just Chestushka here for 2. So we break 1 subroutine. We know he's a Biotic in hand, which he has to hold 7. He didn't res last time. Wow. It's a toll booth. Okay, I figured out why. So we have enough. Oops. There's a lot of things you have to click on this one. Let me tell you. All right, we're through. So we'll see what he sabotages from. 4 from the top of R&D. Those are totally unknown. He might have a Spin Doctor in hand. Unfortunately, we can't run archives that easily. We've taken a core damage, mind you. Like, we can't let the blue fire, so I think we have to wait a turn. I think we can consider putting the Botulus on top of it. I think that's quite fine. So let's just hope he doesn't have a Spin Doctor, because if he has a Spin Doctor here, he fixes everything. Okay. Draw. Nuka's good. We can install Nuka, install Botulus. Our money's pretty busted. I guess we don't click for credit, we Nuka? I guess we Nuka? Ah, Fermenter would have been good. I think we only have 2 in the list, right? Oh, that's a Spin Doctor. Oh, you hate it. You hate to see it. So we can let the blue fire. That's a cool thing. So I think we want to actually have Banhar on probably R&D. So Botulus gets a counter. Banhar and R&D. So we need to get 2 credits and then we can contest the spin doctor. So we'll just do credit, run server 3. If that's not a spin doctor, you hate it. So that lets him fix it to some raindrops a spin. I feel like, I don't know. I'm really bad at raindropsing, but you're right. It's a dirty laundry. If we raindrops it without clicking for credits though, like he can, you know, do whatever he wants. So here we could consider like running hot, just because we haven't done core damage this turn. He did 2 cards on back. Okay, so in terms of the multi-axes, I feel like he's kind of weathered the storm. We have lost or played 2 Chestushka, 2 Finality. So the only multi-axis we have left in the deck is, what's it called? One more Finality. Raindrops R&D, I think. I think we can do it now. Is this every time or whenever the run ends? Whenever a subroutine. Okay, so it doesn't even matter. Yeah. So I think we put Banhar in R&D. Okay. So we have to figure out what to do here. So we know this is a wave. We can just go through it. That's fine. Hey, Sophie, how's it going? So we can definitely just raindrops HQ. No, we probably want to draw once, right? Because, well, I actually think the running hot is probably worth playing. We have to worry about how many subroutines this can be. On 5 credits, is there any ice with 3 subroutines? It would be bloop, and that would be a problem for us. So we have to figure out how we get enough pressure off here. I think we have to play a running hot because we don't have that many triggers of sabotage left in our deck. So I think ideally we might want to just nuka here and then raindrops R&D. Yeah, I think that's fine. We just don't want to lose this to whatever net damage this possibly could be. I'm pretty sure we know what this is because it was one of the 3 ice that we saw him drop at the top of the deck. There's a chance that it costs 2. Oh, it's another bloop. Well, that's a disaster. At least that's free sabotage. Oh, no, it's not because it's 3 net damage. So we're going to lose 3 cards here. Yeah, that's not great. So we know this is a wave. He only has like 13 cards left after this. He drew another wave. That's fine. So we can't break this. So he's going to get some money off of that, which we don't love. Oh, that's a good hit with a biotic in hand. So now in 3 agenda points, like we still have a bunch of work to do. We didn't take core damage this turn. We drew 3. Pretty sure we can get away with running archives here and taking the core damage off of the bloop. The problem is like when he has 6 cards in hand, I don't think I'm excited to do sabotage. I guess it gets anything out of the hand, but like if he sabotages here with 6 cards, it's like not great. So maybe we just prepare because I think next turn he just clicks for 3 credits. This is an echo, right? Dirty Laundry Archives is like, it's possible. I just don't know what these, he's spin doctored back. So it's unlikely these are to be good. And if he reses here, what could he res to end the run? I think it's likely to be another echo, right? So if he reses an echo, we break. Yeah, that's fine. I think we would do this first though. Yeah, we have to get cards out of our hand. Yeah, this seems reasonable. Oh yeah, it's a magnet, right? Oh, that's really, really quite bad. That's awful actually. So now we could let the blue fire and take a core damage because we haven't this turn just to get our card draw and our trigger. I think here, like this cost us 4 credits to get through. So this is cost us 2 to get through and then we can just let this fire. We can't let this fire. So to break this thing, it costs us 5 to 6 credits. It purges our fermenter too. No, I think this was a pretty bad run in hindsight because we knew there's a virus in there. I don't think that was a good run. So we're just gonna let that end run end. Yeah, I think if we had better tracking, we should have known there's a magnet in play because we saw that off the top of the deck. Planogram for 3, nice. So here we have to go HQ. And again, I love legwork in these sort of decks, and we're not going to get the pressure here off of HQ. Hey, no worries. All right. He must be bored. I don't think so, Faceless. Like, I think people like dunk on startup, but like a lot of the startup decks are the exact same as standard. I don't think it's actually that big of a deal. I think you lose out in like the different things you can play. Like the card pool is always smaller, but like I still think there are good games in there. Obviously, I think boat is its own problem potentially. So we have to win in 2 axes ideally. So we can run an HQ, break this for 1, break this for a lot. And we only have 7 cards left. So like our economy runs out. It's the fermenter and the second fermenter that are gonna be so important here. So we have to figure out how to get the most value out of these runs. We can always let the wave fire. He has a biotic in hand, which he needs 7 credits to do. And he hasn't fired his ability yet, but it's worth knowing when he biotics out, he can rescue a card from archives, which is like kind of neat. This Nuka draws everything. Can he score 6 points and 11 cards left? Yeah, because PD helps. You can just recur an agenda from archives. So it's hard to like lose off of archives if you're scoring actively, right? Like you can just play the same biotic over and over again even. So we need to get lucky, right? I love a legwork. Love a legwork. I think we just go HQ. So this costs us 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This costs us 8. That's all their money. We'd access with no money. I feel like we kind of have to go in here. If we do Nuka draw, what is left in our deck, right? Like, is there any core damage trigger we can have here? We've lost all our running hots. We have one more Chasty, one more Chastushka. That would be kind of nice. Not that we can really play it this turn. But if we do Nuka draw, we're going to be on 6 cards, and we have to discard 2 of them. We can always just raindrops HQ for value. I think we do. But I think we have to Fermenter first, right? Yeah, I don't think he's going to build a remote server. I think that's like the biggest thing, is that he's not. Oh, it's 2 to break, not 1. Good thing we cracked the thing. This is a very expensive single axis, right? Like you can't afford these axes. Like here, we're not trying to this is trying to get lucky, right? Because I think we have to. The cool thing is you don't really need a breaker to run R&D. Cursed. So we install this, we go into 2, we draw, we discard a card. I think we want to avoid doing that. I don't think we're going to need another Matryoshka install. So I think we draw once. Yeah. Oh yeah, so there's one more Matryoshka in the stack. Just probably click for credit. Yeah, not great. We forced him to spend 2 credits though, so like he can't do much here. Yeah, exactly. Click for 3. And next turn, he still can't biotic out. I do think we need to check archives while we can. So this costs us 2. This costs us 3, 4, 5. We'll take the core damage happily. So Matryoshka flips. We'll put Banhart on. Is this worth 2 credits to lose a card from hand? I don't think it is. We'll put on R&D. Okay. Isn't there another finality? No, there's only 2. Yeah, it's only on 2 finality, 3 Chastushka. You don't see often more than 1 finality in standard, and man, it's so good. Okay. Yeah, hey, we just don't have a lot of multi-axis left, so we have to get lucky somewhere on a snipe. So this deck is going to be running 18 agenda points. We've seen 2, 4, 5, 6. So that means amongst these 10 cards and these 6 cards, there's still 12 points. We're assuming, of course, he's on 2 more ontologicals, 2, 4, and with the biotic, we're assuming also on all the other Vitruviuses too. I'm assuming that if he had the ontological, he scored from hand, so I think it's more likely we want to pressure R&D this turn. Now, I don't love running archives and letting the bloop fire, on the basis that if we do that, he can feed us Nightmare Archives, and then we've doubled down our core damage. So we might want to just go R&D here. We can hit this thing. Oh no, because we marked it. I guess we can mark something else. I think it's makes more sense to run R&D for a single here. Yeah. I want to remark Banhart. Yeah, having a 3rd here might be nice. I think I'd really prefer a legwork than like a creative commission. Like you can, instead of creative commission, you can play. It's not that easy, but I think you can play what's it called? Wildcat Strike. Do I grant the take back? I haven't gained any information. Yeah, I think we need to let the core damage on this fire to just generate access. Is Jeff in your chat? Ask him. Okay. Hey, Jeff, can we do this? I don't want to say he said yes. I feel like impersonating organized play team is probably a bit of a sacrilege. Jeff is not in chat. Oh no, we're done. We're cooked. We're cooked. Okay. So oh god. Yeah. You can do this. Oh, Cror says it coming in as Jez. What do you think? Wasn't paying attention. No, it's cool. Janktivist is stepping up. Explain the board state. Okay. Oh, thank you. How do we undo turn? Thank you. How do I do undo turn? I think that's the easiest way to do it. Crow's ruling is correct. Okay, cool. Thank you. OP team is amazing. Okay, so I think we need to fire this. So we're gonna put Banhar as a May, right? You may choose a server, so you could choose no server. I don't think it's gonna make a big difference where we put it. We just don't want it here. Okay, so we're gonna put the Nuka. We're gonna run. We're gonna give him too much money. Wait, what does this cost? So this costs us 3, 4, 5, and this costs 2. Yeah, okay. So we'll just run R&D. These cards are the worst cards in our hand. No idea if it's right, but I'm Team Andre. I appreciate it. Can't you just click Banhar? I tried. It didn't work. At least I think I tried, but we might have been derailed by the judge call. Okay, so this we're going to get to strength. This card is really good in startup. I think it's actually pretty good in standard too, but your deck has to care about core damage, which means you're playing ontological. So we're only going to break 2 because we need to keep our breakers. For what it's worth, like, it's hard to deal with this thing in startup. So I'm glad we're on Matroyshka because I don't think there's a better way to do it really in the format, unless you're playing boat or turbine. All right, we lost. Oh, that's good. That's good to have. Andre's right in the no gain information. I think. What? I think Eric knew that. He was just goofing around. But yeah, you know, for sure there's no gain information. I don't think we want to give him more money. Like, that's a lot of money. Obviously, we don't have money, but like, we don't want him to have money. We're 1 credit short of Tragic Spin Doctor, which is obviously like travesty. Break subroutines. So like, we could have considered letting this fire, but like, he's short on credits. And it's harder to play like Hansei Review. Oh, sick. So important we steal that. And it made sense that those were in R&D, because I think if he had them from hand, he would just windmill them out. I like this. So where did he sabotage from? 2 from HQ. Yeah, that makes sense. So here I think we just click for credits and then figure out how to we land our last Chestushka. Yeah. Yeah, that was important. Like, that was obviously a very sick rip, but I think it made sense, right? Like, if he had that, I don't think he would hold it. Oh, he's Hanseiing out. That's, I think, really good for us. Okay, I do think he's going to call some amount of respect on archives. So I think here with 2 cards in hand, we do need to take a core damage off the bloop. We have to take a core damage off the bloop. So we want to put Banhar. I think we want to break this for 5 to take the core damage. So I think we can afford to break this for 2. There's actually a chance we don't. So I'm going to Banhar as on archives as an option. Okay. Yeah, there's clearly an agenda on R&D. Yeah, it's so good. But like, come on, the odds are good. Okay, so here we need to let this bloop fire, because if he rips 2 from hand, we know one is a, what's it called? A biotic. I'm pretty sure he's going to hide something here. Maybe he won't. Maybe that's a ridiculous line. In there are 5 cards, we have a Botulus. Again, we know that we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for this. So we can just do credit, run. And I think that's fair. The question is like, what's in the bottom of our deck that like Nuka can get us access to? Like, what is playable economy on 3 credits? I don't think we have playable economy on 3 credits. We have all raindrops are out. We have all creatives out. We have all gambles out. Yeah, I don't think we'd care. Chestushka for the mill out. I think Chestushka for the mill out is probably the more responsible play. But I'm worried that like the Hasbyrod PD ability is going to just recover that. Like, I think the more responsible play, again, this thing is expensive. This is 7 credits. Like, we could maybe just click 4 here. Like, there's a chance that we can nuka and then just put down a fermenter and then just like chill. If we do that, we're going to discard a whole bunch of cards. I don't know. That's actually really hard. Chestushka for our archives first. Yeah, I don't know. Because this we can just do credit, run archives. And I think I like the core damage from the bloop better than the Chestushka. I think it's cheaper. So that gets us to the 5 we need for this. So I think we just run here. And then just hope that this doesn't hit the Chestushka. And the core damage doesn't hit the Chestushka. And if we find the Nightmare Archives, I think we can take the core damage here. There's 10 cards left in the game and he only has 1 point. Yeah, for sure. But it's not that hard with PD to like rebuild because every time he biotics out, like he'll biotic out next turn and then recover a card from archives. So he can score out in 2-3 turns. It's going to be a bit expensive though. So like it's on the edge of, how's it going, Mr. Six? It's on the edge of being possible. We also can run through this on the last turn that we thought we lost the game. Okay, we lost the Chistuchka. Oh, we had a botulus. So we did top of R&D. Sometimes we win right here. Yeah, we win. Yeah, I think those were in there. Oh, good game. Thanks. You too. Did anything come off the top there? Yeah, nice. We figured it out. So there's a Vitruvius in there. There's a Elevagao in there. 2 came off the top. Yeah, I think there's a lot in hand. And then there's a Mavirus and a Nightmare Archives. For this Nightmare Archives, we probably can take the negative point, considering we were on 6. So it doesn't really matter that much, I don't think. Remember when the best negative points were Shiku, how far we've fallen? Yeah, that's like the big Thule thing. The only reason I enjoy Thule in Standard is that it has an economy, and then tired of the economy is held up by stock buyback. It is so messed up. It's just stock buyback. Cool. Yeah, I don't think he was pushing in a remote server. I'm pretty sure like if he drew these a bit sooner, he would have just scored out from hand. And then scoring this out is like, it was literally a 0-2 agenda that allows him to recur a card. He does have to sabotage 1 from Marrow. Like we lose those. So I don't think we win this unless we steal probably 2 of those. And we also got the Luminal. So we got some really good hits there. Nice. We did it. Is this new Steam Erasure? Kind of. Do you small brain fast break? Oh, he's never going to purge there. Galaxy Brain, breakfast. Break fast. How's it going, D? All right. That is the deck. It is very similar to Standard and Startup. And let me tell you, Esâ is a lot of fun. I know Esâ is converting classically, which is really good in Standard. And like the decks are very similar. I do think like in Startup, there is a bit more tag punishment because Drago is still around and Retribution is actually a problem for Esâ, let alone end the line. And I think that's a bit more common in the format. But I do think there's like really big reason, and you're seeing these across Standard, to want to include just a bit of HQ, like honest HQ multi-axis, like legwork. I don't know if you have to play Jailbreak. Docklands Pass is probably okay. Because you get some good value from it. I actually think Docklands Pass might be reasonable because we actually have reusable breakers, and legwork maybe makes a bit more sense when you can recur a bit of it with in Standard with labor rights. As much as that's a more impactful card and we can't get that many accesses. The thing is like Docklands Pass maybe isn't the best thing because you notice like on turn 2 there's 2 ice on HQ because you really have to against Banhar. But again, imagine we had Banhar in the bottom like 3 cards of the deck, how different that game looks. Banhar is wild. Banhar is really, really good. Okay. All right, that was a fast deck list of the week. As fast as it can be. Let's talk about some news real quick, and then we'll do some criminal from there. Firstly, how's everyone doing? Shiku was earlier. Shiku was in Honor and Profit. The other one didn't come out to date in Destiny. It was the first negative point card, I think, but you had to pay a lot. There are news? Yeah, there's lots of news. Check this out. Canadian Nationals East Coast Edition. This is the Nationals that I am running in Montreal. We have this page up on Always Be Running. If you would like, you can go to the bottom if you're thinking of attending, and you can hit that players going button, and that's sick. It just helps us have an understanding of how many folks are looking to show up, which is important because we're going to be getting some unique prize support for this event that will be exclusive to this event. So yeah, getting some basic idea of numbers is really important. I will update y'all as soon as I actually have the ticket page where you can actually purchase the ticket to like really reserve your spot, because I don't know how many people we're expecting. I'm expecting a pretty big turnout, but we are technically capped. There's only so many seats in the place, although it is a pretty generous number. But yeah, it's coming up. Hit this up. We'll be updating this when we get more information. But if you want to start planning some plans, it is the 26th and 27th of August. And I can't tell you how nice it is to see Montreal in the summer. It is kind of amazing. So yeah, if you want to share that. Did anyone do it? Can we watch this in real time? This is bad television, isn't it? The refresh didn't work. Okay, I'll just leave it there. But yeah, that'd be cool. Love the zebra kick art. It's really good. Yeah, this is a Doyle, right? Yeah, this is a Doyle. And then Cat Shen. They have the Anoetic, which is phenomenal as well. And then there's some of the older prize support too. So like the Maryland's part of that. There's enamel pins, and we have the boosted prize support kit. So we'll be having double whatever this says. Like this is actually wrong because Always Be Running doesn't allow you for a boosted kit, but we're having a boosted kit. So it's now top 2 faction gets enamel pins, top 32, top 64. So the prize support is actually a bit more generous than it looks like here. There's also 2, I didn't realize that there's 2 invitations to Circuit Breaker opener. And I also didn't realize if you win a national, they pay for your world championship ticket. That's not like a flight or a hotel, but that is like the cost of entry, which like Worlds last year was like $75. So like, yeah, it's nice. That's nice. As long as, of course, you're going to be in Barcelona this autumn. But yeah, sick. More information coming. On that note too, we have a Montreal Circuit opener. It is just 2 weekends from now, if I'm not mistaken, on the 17th. If you want to drop in, we've been having, well, this is the 3rd one and it's been a lot of fun. So I'll be there. It's great. What else? Montreal is close. D, you think about Montreal is really close. Like, I don't know if y'all, for like, this is a big thing for those in the East Coast. And I need to like advertise this a bit better to the folks from like New England and all that. Like the drive between Boston and Montreal, it's like 6 hours. New York and Montreal is like 6 hours. It's like an hour flight. Obviously expenses and all that, but like it is a very manageable thing in terms of like people living Northeast. I know from some of the people that come in from the Northeast states like Vermont and some parts of like New Hampshire or like New York, we're actually the closest meta, which is really funny. So we're closer to a lot of Americans than the some of the other events. Not that they're going on at the same time, but like the one in Philly is much further for a whole bunch of people. How close are Montreal to the fires? Yeah, actually that's a big point worth talking about. Relatively close. So for those who don't know, Quebec right now has about like 200 forest fires going on. It's like pretty wild. We started experiencing this on Tuesday where my partner came in and she was like, do you smell cigarettes? It smells like cigarettes. And yeah, you went outside and you just couldn't see the sky anymore. It was just gray. It was just really, really gray and bad. And you could smell it. It smelled like fire burning. And there's just so many forest fires because it's been a dry and a hot season. They're just burning out all across, all across Quebec. And that's not great. I know a lot of Americans are also experiencing this. I think Ottawa had a really, really bad a couple of days ago. Fire sky. You're probably seeing images of like Times Square in New York where it's just orange. Like it's just all the smoke is coming down that like New York literally looks like Blade Runner. It looks like, you know, a film, American film telling you it's in Mexico, right? It's like so messed up and it's very dangerous to be out there. Like this is literally toxic air. You cannot breathe smoke as a human. It'll kill you. So it's bad. I think today got a fair bit better because we had some rain. So like, I think that's going to help for the forest fires, but also now you can see the sky for the first time in like many days. But yeah, I think Ottawa had it the worst. Toronto had a really bad and New York had a terrible yesterday. Like this is end of the world, what it looks like. This is not a doctored image. It's also like a lot of like cell phone cameras like will color correct their way out of this. But yeah, it's like, it looks like the apocalypse out there. It looks like it is slightly getting better because of the water, but yeah, the fires have been burning for a while now. In Montreal, we're totally, I think, safe. We're also literally on an island, so like actually safe from fire largely, but like people are being displaced. Yeah, it's hard to deal with fire. It's a massive issue. I don't know much more about it, but yeah, it's not great. Literally the country on fire. Oh my god. Yeah, New York City is hazardous level air conditions. They like have numbers where they describe air condition quality and like their bar goes to like 300 and it maxes out at 300 and 300 is like hazardous. Like don't go outside. Like if you're a roofer, if you're working outside, don't. And it was like at 410. It was like way higher because like, I don't know, man. It's real bad out there. Yeah. It's like $250 to fly to what's it called? To Montreal. I know someone who found tickets from like New York to Montreal for like on one of the budget airlines for like $40-50. So like 250, I think is probably what you're expecting. You can do better. You can probably do worse. If someone had a couch to stay on, you're seeing the fun of hiding indoors. Yeah. On that note too, like closer to the date of the event too, we'll be talking about like, we'll do all the nice stuff that we do. We'll do like a guide on what to see in Montreal, vegan food map. We'll do all the cool stuff. So if you're coming down to the city, we'll help you out with that as well. That's cool. Trying to decide if I can do 3 Netrunner events in 4 weeks. Oh, because you're going out to Cascadia, right? Yeah, it's like 2 weeks before it. Jeff, definitely would love to have you, but I know it can be difficult. But it's a great place to be if you want to come up. I thought it was 500. Oh, the like the report of the air quality. Yeah, I don't know. I watched a YouTube thing where they're like it's 410. yeah, it's stay safe. If you got masks, wear masks if you're in the area. I know a lot of people are because like it looks like it's trying to kill you, and because it is. Okay, AMT was this weekend, accelerated beta test. This was huge. This was it was Saturday. Casting was pretty great. And the event, they had about 22 players. Casting was really funny. Who was it? It was Mondegreen Marbles and oh no, there's one more person. I forget their name and I'm gonna feel really bad about it. Someone help me out. But it was really, really funny. At some point they thought they were muted. They weren't. Which is like such an ugly feel, but it was actually really charming. But the gameplay was actually really tight. You can actually watch a whole bunch of this. So like the Null Signal Twitch has it. It will end up on YouTube as the VOD. And then on top of that too, there's a couple players who have their sides up. So if you want to watch Bahram Wu, I believe has all of his games up on his channel. You can watch, where's the King? The King was being, Oracle for the King was Sokka. And so you can watch that through, Sokka's stream. I think it's actually really funny too, because Sokka is like very clearly emoting when the King does something he doesn't agree with. So it's just kind of really funny to watch. But shout out to all these players, and Coder too. Coder had these really cool decks. We were talking about Thule, and he played a Thule deck that I think is a bit more jammy even than the Solomir version. It's actually running like Off-World Office, which is really, really cool. And he went undefeated until the finals, and then unfortunately just lost the finals, which is pretty bad. But like Man in the Moon took it with a really interesting and wild deck. I think Man in the Moon classically has been showing up to these events with like very interesting prison damage hybrid ob decks, and it's actually like the tightest, the most interesting op deck we've seen in a bit, in terms of like it's really strange. It's really strange, and you don't see a lot of successful acid decks. I don't know. I think, yeah, play Miss Bones or whatever, but that's great. Sokka's face expressions, it's so funny. Brandon will say to do something, and Sokka, like as the Oracle, is not allowed to say like that's a bad idea, but he'll be like, huh? And it's just really entertaining because Brandon has no idea, unfortunately, but it's good fun. I watched a whole bunch of it. Actually has their games on VOD as well. Oh, awesome. How can you see those? It was faster to fly than to be stuck in Montreal traffic, apparently. Oh, it'll be faster to fly to Montreal? Yeah, maybe. I was really curious about the oracling process. I appreciate that Sokka and the King streamed it. Yeah, it's a really cool process too, just to watch, to understand like how it works. I've oracled before for Brandon in like in-person events, and like it's honestly intimidating because if you mess it up, you feel really bad. But I like the reiteration, and it's really cool also how you see when like Brandon asks about certain parts of the board state, like what he's focusing on. He has a lot of it in the memory too, obviously, so he doesn't have to re-ask about certain basic stuff. But yeah, I think it's just really cool to watch. One of the fun parts of oracling is emoting your issues with Brandon's plays. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if Brandon knows that like Sokka is like roasting him sometimes. Long hesitation before Sokka played when he thought it was a bad call, but they were laughing a lot. A lot of times you could see that like Sokka would like, he would explain what the play was, and then Sokka would like wait until he got 2 or 3 clicks in a row, and then he would do it, which I think is just like probably a nice way to do it, so that if you do want to pull a take back, it doesn't get ugly. So he'd be like, do this and then do this, and then he'd be like, okay, and he'll do 2 clicks in a row, which is great. Oh, Sokka did mess it up. Oh, beans. Yeah, no, hey, that'll happen. You just take a take back if you can. Okay, cool. Other real news, quick. r/board games. Null Signal was here. This was 2 days ago, and they did an AMA in the r/board games. This is on Reddit. Again, all these links will be in the description after the YouTube video. And so there's some really nice questions, really nice answers, a lot of like praise. And I read through this. I think I didn't read through it when it's finished. I read through it a bit before. I think the Null Signal team got locked out of their account at some point. But there's a lot of people asking questions about the new set, favorite things about the game right now, stuff like that, which is really cool. But yeah, check this out if you want to get a bit more insight into the Null Signal folks and what they're doing and the lore and the game design stuff. And I don't think there's much in terms of like spoilers going forward, but you're probably reading this for a bunch of other reasons too. Really wish I could have casted the last AMT, but I came down with the fever. Hey, Jai, I hope you're feeling better. There's one a month, like, which is so cool too, as like possibilities for people to do casting and get more experience with that stuff, which is really good and really fun. There's more of that, but check this out. Also, real quick thing in terms of Reddit, r/Netrunner, if you're a regular patron there, if you're just showing up, they're going to be blacked out from June 12th to June 14th. If you don't know about this thing, this is a long ongoing thing across Reddit right now. A lot of communities are choosing to black themselves out, to shut down on these dates, including r/board games where we just wear. In short, to catch you up really quickly, Reddit has an API that a lot of other apps access, right? So they can interact with the app and do other things, present the content, and have other tools that work alongside Reddit to make it a better experience for a lot of people. And usually that API access has been free. And recently, I think the big one behind this big change is this app called Apollo, which I think is an iOS app that people use to browse Reddit. They decided to, in about a month, they gave about 30 days notice, I think, maybe a bit more than that. And they went from saying that the Reddit app, that API that your app was based on, was going from free to costing, I think it was about either 2 or 20 million. That's a huge jump. But basically they're saying if you want to use our API, you're going to have to pay us. And the amount that you're going to have to pay us is obviously absurd. It's bananas, let alone even if it was $2 million instead of 20, you can't give somebody 30 days notice that they now owe $2 million for their company to like exactly function. So why is that a problem? Should Reddit make money off their API? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I think Web 2.0 maybe says that you shouldn't to some extent. Obviously, that costs the money. But the idea is that this API is used in so many ways to make Reddit a better place in terms of accessibility, or let alone also moderation tools. A lot of the best moderation tools that people, you know, for free spend time to make Reddit and moderate Reddit to make it a place that humans actually want to be on, whether or not that's entirely true, is, you know, through these things. And these things just will crumble when they start to have to worry about how they're paying the bills. So a lot of people are really fed up with that and really kind of putting their foot down. So Reddit is going to be shutting down most sub communities. And I think we'll see how that pans out. I honestly don't know if that's going to be big enough, but we're going to protest anyways. So that's going to happen. So if you're going to Reddit and you're wondering why the hell is this private, for 2 days, it'll be down. And that's why. Oh, want to give this a shout out too. World Breakers, the Indigo Sisterhood. So World Breakers is a card game made by Ellie Amir, right? That has to be right. And Ellie put out World Breakers just last year. We played some gameplay on the channel. I haven't won a game in a long time in this game. And World Breakers came out and feels like a couple months ago. And I think one of the biggest deals is World Breakers was did out by Shut Up and Sit Down. And I think that's been doing really well. And off of that, you know, shoot, I was supposed to shut that up. That's okay, Sangren. There's an expansion coming out that is just, I think, more cards for the game, which is great. It was a core box that you can get into. It comes with technically a full play set of the cards if you want, and this comes out with the dice and new faction cards and just more of the same World Breakers if you enjoy World Breakers. I know a lot of people who play Netrunner do. So this went up, I think, yesterday. They had a pretty modest goal of 10,000 American dollars. They hit it in a couple hours, so now the goal is they're doing great, which is fantastic. I think the Shut Up and Sit Down push has been really good. If you want to watch World Breaker content and watch someone being really bad at it, you can check this channel. We have some content on Tabletop Simulator, me playing against, I think, Patrick exclusively, and Ellie was there to answer some questions, which is fantastic. But it's a neat game. It's like kind of a combination of Netrunner and Magic the Gathering, and then a bit of a worker placement like action game where there's like an action economy where you trade actions, which is pretty good. You can get the OG game, the Kickstarter too. Yeah, you can pick up the original game and the card doubler, which I have, and then the Sisterhood expansion. So there's a lot of ways you can support this, but that's up now. Link will be in description. It is more World Breakers, which I think a lot of people are super excited about. So check that out. That's cool. I suspect this Shut Up and Sit Down shoutouts is worth a bit more. Yeah, I reckon so. That's cool. I think the Shut Up and Sit Down thing, like, it will just make someone's board game career. I know I was talking to Ellie before, and I'm not speaking on behalf of Ellie because I don't know, but Ellie was saying like they took time out of work off of a sabbatical to make World Breakers, and then once it released, there was like some goals to get to funding, and then if that was a huge success, they would consider, you know, doing more of it and make it more as a part of their career. And I'm assuming it's working out. So I'm super, super stoked for Ellie. That is kind of the dream for a lot of people that have a passion project, and then, you know, releasing it, getting out there, and then like getting, you know, praise on a global level is a really, really big deal. By the way, how's it going, Orb? Every Netrunner player should own World Breakers. Yeah, I think if you play Netrunner, you're gonna get a lot out of this. Like, I think it's easy to pick up, and I think it's easy to understand. I haven't played a lot of World Breakers since it came out. It's not the kind of game that my partner likes, and that's generally, if we're playing 1v1 board games, that's who I generally play the most out of. So there's a lot of World Breakers I still haven't seen yet. Looks pretty affordable. Yeah, it is. It is. It's very affordable. It is. You get a lot for what you pay for too, which is not a lot. Okay, we talked about this at the top of the stream. I'm just going to shout this out right now for those who are coming into the middle, because this is a really awkward subject that I have really ugly kind of feelings about. Like, I don't know honestly what to do. And so I'm just going to say this one more time to make it clear, because right now, if you're watching on Twitch, in fact, if you're watching on YouTube, this stream is illegal. This has happened recently. As of 2 days ago, Twitch has updated their terms of service, and there's two big parts of the terms of service that were updated. The first part got the majority of the conversation, and if you're part of the streaming or gaming community, if you read, you know, gaming journalism, you probably heard about this. But they made some changes, and one of the big changes was how people could monetize themselves on stream. And they said, like, you can only run these sorts of ads. You can't run these sort of ads. This is how ads should take up space on your stream. It was released kind of quietly, honestly, and then immediately blew up once people read it and realized that it was a very, very, very tone deaf and pretty bad deal for all the streamers. In short, they stopped allowing streamers to generally monetize in a way that's favorable to them outside of the Twitch ecosystem. Twitch wanted them to be only monetized throughout Twitch, so you couldn't run pre-baked ads into your thing. Which, if you watch Twitch, you realize that's what a lot of people do. In fact, that is like the basis of how most like big events run on Twitch. Things like, you know, the game's done quick, or like fighting game tournaments, or even like if you watch today this summer game show, like that's kind of just how people use Twitch. And they said you couldn't do any of that. People got really upset. Twitch said, we're going to reconsider it. Sorry, this is not real. And then they came back today and said, we're panning all of that, but we'll get back to you. Obviously bad look for Twitch when inherently their rules come out and everyone's like, wait, that's entirely untenable. Like inherently the way that we interact with your channel, this doesn't make any sense, but whatever. But there was another really important change for me, maybe for y'all, and for a lot of people who make content on a really casual level for like, you know, niche card gaming stuff. And that is this idea. Classically, and this has come up before, I dual stream. So for those who are only watching on one channel who are confused, you might understand this by looking at chat when it says restream bot. There's people watching right now live on Twitch and right now live on YouTube. And I don't care which channel you're on. I do this so that we have communities that's easier to experience and enjoy this content wherever you are, or whatever makes sense for you. And classically, simul streaming was okay on Twitch as long as you weren't part of the Twitch affiliate program and you weren't monetized on Twitch. As soon as you signed up as a Twitch person that you got money from Twitch, from rolling Twitch ads, you were able to get subscriptions and like emotes and, you know, channel points, all that fun Twitch stuff. It said in those terms of service that you were no longer allowed to simulcast. You're part of the Twitch team. Welcome to Twitch. So I decided, and we've been streaming, mind you, online for I think 4 to 5 years now. It's been a while, that I was not going to affiliate on Twitch, and so that we could simul stream on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. I have no regrets about that. That was the right choice, and it still is to this date. Unfortunately, they rolled that back. And now if you're live streaming on the Twitch services, you may not simultaneously live stream on any other Twitch-like service. So now it does not care if you're an affiliate, even if you're making no money off the Twitch ecosystem, you can't simul stream at all. So inherently, this is not allowed. What is the punishment for this? I think it's a bannable offense. So there is a chance that the Twitch channel at some point can get banned if we continue to do this. I did want to stream at least today, understanding, unfortunately, we are breaking the terms of service, but just for an explanation going forward. And this puts me in a really awkward situation of what to do because we can no longer simul stream going forward. So I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do. The way I'm looking at it is I will stream on YouTube exclusively, given those options. I don't think there's a big reason to stream on Twitch exclusively. YouTube is just a bit better of a spot for a lot of things. It does the VOD. So if you're watching this on Twitch, if you could take a second, and I know a lot of people too are just going to stop watching the channel, unfortunately, because people are generally used to the channels and the ecosystems that they buy into, and they have, you know, they log into their Twitch account. It's a habit. It's very different to like change that, to be like log into YouTube, get YouTube on your phone and all that sort of stuff, however you watch this stream. So that's a bummer. But if you do want to take a second and hop over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel. If you want to hit the bell notification, you'll get a push notification when we go live, let alone upload a video, which we haven't done in a while. That would mean a lot to me. But otherwise, yeah, there's a big chance next week, this time on Thursday, we will not be streaming on Twitch, and it's not really my choice anymore. They're making the decision for me. The other option is we can just continue to simul stream until somebody eventually, and I honestly don't know if it would ever happen, bans our Twitch account. Do I need a Twitch account if I'm not using it? I'm not sure. It just kind of sucks to get a Twitch account banned that has thousands of followers. Like, it feels like that's kind of a valuable thing to have to some extent. But yeah, it's just the ugly truth that they're just saying, no, sorry, you have to use us or nothing else, which, like, yikes. And unfortunately, I don't know if they're gonna roll back on that one. So it sucks. Twitch doing the Tumblr downfall speedrun. Yeah, there's always this conversation about, like, you know, once your platform gets so big, you start to make really bad decisions because, yeah. I'll move to YouTube. Twitch just was the place for streaming gaming content. Exactly, Faceless, like, I hear you. It's the place to be if you, like, regularly watch a lot of people, right? And so it's hard to leave that space. It really is. Coming to you live from the front lines for now, unless they kill me. Boost into Trace to not get your Twitch account trashed. Yeah, I don't know. Like, do we just break the terms of service? That feels like a pretty bad thing to do. I don't know. For a community as small as Netrunner, being able to simulcast is super important. We can't afford to split our base across different platforms. Yeah, exactly. And, like, I'll be honest, none of these platforms do a fantastic job at what I think they could or should be doing, right? Like Twitch is good in some ways because I can label myself Netrunner. So if people search Netrunner, they can get there on a live stream. That's kind of cool. You can do hosting. You can do a bunch of other stuff. The messaging system, I think, is a bit more robust. On YouTube, though, the VOD is there. The discoverability of me being live, if you find my video content, that's good too. But like, yeah, dividing the two communities, like we did so much work to make that not happen. Like I pay regularly a server so that I have an RATMP server so I can simul stream my stream. Like this was a thing we went out the way to do just so this could happen. And I know a lot of other people do that with things like Restream, but like, yeah, it's just a bummer. It just collapsed. So great. Might be true, but if you know the content is on a different platform, if it's worth which Metropole is, the switch shouldn't be that detrimental. Yeah, I hear you, Faceless. I might just be a bit more pessimistic about it. So I appreciate the support. I wonder if you could stream on Twitch where it's just an image that says you're live on YouTube. I'm pretty sure stuff like that is probably against the terms of service to some extent. I don't think you're allowed to stream static images. Does not apply to non-commercial purposes. Can you Twitch be considered non-commercial? eKimmel, how's it going? It only it's considered non-commercial if you're specifically like a nonprofit or a government entity. So like, I don't know what those designations are, but like the sort of like 501c whatever registered nonprofit is. So like, that's not us. We're definitely not strictly commercial, but like we're also not a nonprofit nor a government entity. So I don't think it actually will cover us. I don't know what that means. Maybe, but I don't think so. I'd hope so. Can still multi-stream to TikTok? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, they're like a bit softer on things like TikTok and like social based platforms, but like, yeah. NSG can simulcast. NSG, from my understanding, can simulcast because they are a registered nonprofit. Not that they do simulcast, but yeah, NSG could. And then things like, I think Summer Games Done Quick, Games Done Quick in general, I think can. But yeah, not everyone can. Perhaps you could go briefly online on Twitch just to trigger a notification to let people know you don't get a notification when you're live from YouTube. You could. You just have to hit the bell, I think, XWT. Yeah, there's a chance. The problem is like, do you keep doing that for years? Like, what's the plan like a year from now? To like always log on Twitch to just to use as a push notification? Like, that's not a scalable option, is it? Yeah, non-com government streams. Yeah, that makes sense. NSG is indeed a registered nonprofit. It's a hilarious loophole. Yeah, I know, right? It's cool. That's kind of neat, I guess. But yeah, that's where we are today. So it's just bummer news. I don't think there's any way around it. It just sucks. And probably not gonna be on Twitch next week. Again, I'm also interested to see what other people do. Like I know other Netrunner streamers are struggling with this, those that do restream. And like for me too, it's like so many people I watch on YouTube or Twitch are like exactly people that do content like this, where it's like I do a niche card game and I stream to like, you know, some small amount of people and I'm not making money, big money off of this channel. And now I have to decide which of my communities to like absolutely kill. And I don't think Twitch is winning that fight on any front, which is phenomenal. Andre, are you going to travel for any events this summer or not? Eric, how's it going? Firstly, good games. Am I going to travel this summer? Likely. I'm thinking most likely that I'll try and travel down to Philly. The event that you're running, which is a Cascadia, which is the second weekend of August, is really hard. For what it's worth, Eric, I think when you pitched Cascadia to me, I think you said July, which I think I could have done. But in August is really hard because the next weekend is I have to be somewhere else in the country for a wedding. And then the next weekend's national. So it just it's not very easy for me to do. But I'm thinking of making it down to the East Coast because I think that's more reasonable. What are you doing? How's your traveling? Are you coming to Montreal? Are you going to win 2 Canadian nationals, Eric? Don't GG me SMH with startup and yeah, no problem on Cascadia. Oh, okay, cool. Just come to Cascadia next year. East Coast Nats is sick. Are you coming to East Coast, Eric? Are you coming out to Montreal? Yeah, I felt really bad about Cascadia, man. I really wanted to. If it was like the week earlier, maybe. How about West Coast Nats? That's in July. That one's hard too. Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. Man, I don't work full time. Like my money is a bit tighter than I wish it would be to be able to do all the traveling that I wanted to do. So I think I have to pick my fights this year. Oh, you're going to Vegas for Flesh and Blood? Yeah, you got looped into it. Yeah, sure. That's sick, though. Yeah, I imagine that's a pretty expensive place. Got to go with my boys. Yo, good luck. Let me know how when is that? Oh, we're doing criminal. What are we doing? We're going to build a criminal deck. I want to do some very basic fundamental stuff. Mind you, I have a deck here that I was testing that's a similar idea, but we need to play AI because otherwise it doesn't work. Vegas is cheap. What? Vegas is cheap? Second last weekend of August. Oh, damn. Okay, cool. So the weekend before. And go to LA end of June for a Battle Hardened. That's hardcore, man. Your comments about Flesh and Blood in the last podcast was really funny. Nobody from the Flesh and Blood community ideally listens to that podcast, let's be honest. But I know what you mean to some extent. Vegas is cheap because West Coast and subsidized flights. Oh, I didn't realize that. I know I've heard, like, I listen to, like, you know, Haydendale and all those folks, and they say Vegas is a bit expensive, but like half of that team is flying in from New Zealand, so most places are expensive. Okay, let's play Criminal deck. This is Los. We've been seeing a bit more Los recently on JNet, and I'm happy about it. Los is one of my favorite IDs, I'll be honest. You see about nothing. You see about no Los, and Los is a very simple idea. It says the first time the corp reses a piece of ice each turn, gain 2 credits. Now, currently, Criminal kind of exists in the sort of space that Anarchs do to some extent, where there's a bunch of Anarchs that do something, but then there's just Hoshiko that gives you the consistency of the card draw and then sometimes the credits and the link that just allows you to do basically every Anarch game plan more consistently and a bit better. And for 419 or for Criminal, it's kind of 419 feels like that way. It's like you're playing Amakua, so expose is valuable. And then on top of that, the economic denial of slowing down the corporation is a pretty important thing too. So most Criminals, you just end up playing 419. So a lot of people don't play the weirder Criminal identities like Los. What do they think about the people would rather go to an 8-person event where they like everyone versus 24 where they dislike 3? Some people disagree with me on that. Yeah, Eric, but I think the big thing that comes down to that is, like, I totally understand where you're coming from. And I'll be honest, like, if I had to compare like the Netrunner community and the Flesh and Blood community, from what I know, there's a bunch of people who play Flesh and Blood in the city that I think are phenomenal. But it's not the same hit rate that Netrunner has, if you know what I mean. But like a lot of people do things for different things. Like I go out to Flesh and Blood events and I'm, you know, a lot of people there are a bit sweaty and a bit try hard, kind of like what I mentioned Magic is, and I have a good time because I'm there to compete. But I love going to Flesh and to Netrunner events because not only can I be there to compete, but I'm there to also hang out with my friends. So I think it's like, you know, the different, what do they call it? The individual breakdowns of different folks, right? Like some people are there to compete, some people are there to make friends, to socialize, some of the people are there to make their combo deck go off, right? And I think you're in one of the camps that is actually not as common in Netrunner right now, for better or for worse. Hey, Dowgene, is World Tree Criminal possible, more realistic if his D-Res a strong thing nowadays? I don't know if you play in World Tree Criminal because you're not very good at installing things in Criminal, let alone there's not that many things you want to get from your deck. For what it's worth, if you want to play World Tree Criminal, like you have this thing. Like this thing is kind of World Tree. It's not as good, but like there are weird tricks that you can do in Criminal for the install-based decks. But like Criminal needs things that you can get value from and then kind of send away. So I think like if you wanted to World Tree in Criminal, you have like maybe Miss Bones is kind of cool. I guess you wish you'd have like Bank Job, but yeah, I don't know. It's tricky. It's tricky. Nobody plays Reg Steve, yeah, and good. It's boring. 419 needs to go back on the ban list too. Stifling for the Crim Stave. Scrub, I think I saw you the other day. I think we both watched the same Marvel Snap streamer, huh? I'm pretty sure I saw you in chat. How you doing? I'd rather go to the 8-person event, but I also used to go to the 4-person events that had people I disliked, but I quit salt farming long ago. So I want to play Los, and I've played a couple games of Los so far, and I'm telling you in most Los games, I'm getting about like 12 to 14 credits, which is really good. Like that actually is pretty reasonable. I don't think criminals have a huge issue with economy, but a lot of the criminal decks that I've been playing, the 419 decks, are a bit, they click for credits a bit more than they need to, particularly if you're not like playing, you know, like the Tag Me package that I'm playing in the Auto Dialer deck. So this seems okay. Now this gets even better if you're playing some D-Res effects, and I think that's really important. And I think we can keep this to like very base fundamentals. So I'll show you the deck that I was playing a bit before, and it actually kind of works out. My win rate was not very good, but it got a bit better. But this is the deck that I was playing a bit before earlier this week. And it's nothing too special. I wanted to try out some of the criminal tricks. So it's like criminals as you think they're going to be, like all the good stuff. We're on 2 copies of Emergency Shutdown, which I think is a quite powerful card. I think a big reason why I was excited to play this deck is that you are seeing a bunch of decks run into like a bit more late game Glacier stuff. You know, the Jinteki Ice that's like 8 credits, they can barely res it, let alone some of the Acme stuff. Like that stuff, you know, it kind of gets out of hand and we can de-res that, which is a really good trade for us. So this seemed like an easy thing to play. We have a single DZ-MZ optimizer because we are playing a bit more cards than we have MU in Criminal. In fact, there's no MU Criminal cards besides consoles. That's rough. And then the cards that I really wanted to play were Boklin Botchkin. I think this card is sick and I want to play more about it. I'll play more of it. Now this card gives you a tag, and I think you can afford just to clear the tag clicklessly. I think the version that I was playing very soon after this version on JNet was actually playing also Flip Switch, so that we could face check very aggressively and also like clear the tags if we need to. But Boklin is like a really unfair card potentially. This card charges power counter so quickly, and once it's up, if they res a big ice, you can de-res it on the encounter window, which means they cannot re-res it, which is very, very good. And that means you can start rolling with a lot of like AI-based virus stuff with Amakua, which I think we should have. And is the worst part of this deck is that we're not running Amakua, so we'll get back to that. Otherwise, we have big money with liberated accounts. Remind you, we're playing Career Fair, and then nothing special here. Paying 7 for Amina feels really bad, and eventually I added also, what's it called? A Cat's Cradle to this deck. But Galter, Paperclip, we definitely should be running AIs. 2 Cheswa's really good. I think Cheswa's the only way that you can consistently beat some of the bigger ice in the format, considering this thing gives you a lot of money. Very good, very good. And then 2 Tranquilizer, which I think I never ended up playing, but I think is only good against really, really, really slow decks. The MU on this is a bit difficult, but once you get this on a piece of ice, it's basically a dead piece of ice and they can trash it. So I think we can do something like this. I know in chat people are a bit upset we're not playing Rubicon Switch, and I think we can consider playing Rubicon Switch to some extent. I think it's probably a bit more easily played in Tranquilizer, but there's certain matchups where Tranquilizer is kind of fire, because that's, again, one of the best things you can do with Los is face check aggressively and face check early. And so I do think, again, we really need to play Flip Switch. It is just so good because a lot of the good ice right now in standard, you have to face check into intelligently. And Flip Switch just says, nah, just run into anything. Like you force them to give you 2 credits every single turn. And then if they don't res their ice, you're generally in a good spot because you're playing Penny Shaver and Amakua. And if they do res the ice, you got 2 credits and you can run away if it's really bad. And it's not often really bad. So we're going to build something similar to that. Bachlin's no Maxwell James, but still quite good. Andrew, how's it going? Yeah, if you know Maxwell James is like messed up. He's not going to show up here because he's not in the card pool. But it is, I think, one of the cards that is a bit better than the amount of play it sees, specifically if you're running into a format where you're consistently seeing Corpse res 8 credit ice. Maxwell James, mind you, was pretty bizarre. Hey, Chenchlin, good evening. Finally got to watch you since our weekly in-person night moved to Tuesdays. Oh, yo, why did it move? Also glad to have you. It's like really interesting when, you know, entire metas move their day. They have to agree on it. It's like a kind of hard thing to do, but welcome. Why not T400 save influence? Because T400 is so boring that I never want to install it. I think this is it is the neutral influence MU card. But I think DZ we got enough value from with all the, like, you know, little things we install that maybe. Smokes Loki as well. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that it really, really hurts. Like you just can't res big stuff into the deck. Okay. So the basics that we want to run that the other deck didn't run is like we can run cheaply and often. So unfortunately, one of the best things we can do is run Amakua. Like that was the worst part about the deck is that like once we got all our breakers down, that was a bit slow and expensive. And we had Amakua. We get just so much value from this that you only install your breakers if and when you need it. So I think a criminal is like inherently you could play 2 Amakua, you could play 3, you can play 2 leeches, and it's so hard to keep you out. It is just so difficult to keep this out. If you can start running consistently, you are going to have to play real breakers from some small like instances. But if you're running Amakua and 2 leech, right, like you just go. And it's hard for them to like ice up every server, which is more money for you. It's pretty good. People are more likely to come on Tuesday, it seems. We had like 3, 4 the Thursday before, we got 9 on Tuesday. Oh, that sounds like a good change. Well done. Cool. We're going to have to run real breakers. So I think we can run a Bugalter. That's fine. I think Amina is like an interesting card if we want to like play credit kiting on its own. She's very expensive. I think we also have a bit of economic denial if we play the cheap decoder, what's it called, Cat's Cradle, but I'm not excited about it. And then as a Fractor, there's a chance that we don't have to play anything. Leech combos with Backlund. Wait, actually, the first time you encounter a piece of ice, place 1, de-res the ice you are encountering. Yeah, Leech does combo with Backlund. Holy shit, that's messed up. Cat less bad with leeches too. Yeah, it is less bad. That is messed up. So the idea is that we can run into something and put our leech counters into and de-res it. That's so good. And it's very important to know it says de-res the ice you are encountering. Corpse can only res ice on approach, which happens before encounter. So once you de-res the ice, you don't have to break it and they can't re-res it. So the window on Backlund is so good. 1x Mockler for the insurance. I wonder if you do 1x Mockler or you do just 1x, what's it called? The 0 cost one. Not Carmen. Ooh, what's it called? Because like I don't think we install Mockler realistically in any case. Not even Tycoon, the other one from Marjana. I think you went. I think you just play Marjana for 0 if you run into wraparound, and that's it. Like I don't know if you actually have to do any of the other ones. Marjana is bad. They're all bad. But the idea is that like you play this just so you don't get locked out if they purge you. But I don't even know if it's necessary. For what it's worth, I've been playing Auto Dialer 419. We have no Fractor in it. And it's only bad if you run into Pat and he's playing Ice Wall, which he is. But like almost no other deck runs barriers. Laughs and Acme. In Acme, you actually have a pretty okay matchup with Wenegon. Or sorry, with Backlund. I read Wenegon's comment. All right. Big problem here is we run out of MU very quickly. Ideally, we have an Amakua and we have 2 leeches. So we would love to run copies of Chesva. I think Chesva is a really good card. I think another one you can run is just Bankroll, which is a similar idea if we really wanted to. It just gives you a credit per run, and then you can also break it. Saker is a good one. Saker is like interesting. It's also very expensive. You have to ask yourself, what ice are you breaking in the format that you actually need Saker for? So if we run into an IP block, ideally we'll have to trace through it. I know that we have an Amakua, but we're gonna have to deal with that later. What else does Saker deal with well? Like border control for 2 is fine. That's what you expect, but it's really easy to do with that Amakua. If you have to derez or break like a big thing, like we have flip switches, so we can face check into like, you know, all the what's it called that we want bulwarks, but it's hard. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it's just border control. So I think maybe Saker is better than Marjana. It's just like I feel like we're never gonna. This ability is absurdly expensive. Yeah. Yeah, Hunting Grounds we're going to play because IP block is pretty common against NBN decks, and this is just a good card in the meta. Generally okay. Yeah, that's fine. BC is the only thing this lines up well against. Yeah, and the thing is, like, I'm pretty sure we could probably play without a Fractor, and we probably could, so we'll see. I think the big issue we're going to have is an MU issue. Like, I would love to play on top of this. Like, I would love to play Amakua Leech, like play 2 cookbooks, and then play, like, snakes, like, just play a whole bunch of snakes. But then like MU is just an issue that Criminal cannot solve in any reasonable way. If you run into a Chiashi, you cry a lot. If you run into a Chiashi, you flip switch out and then you derez it with a Bachlan. Seems fine, right? Like nobody's breaking flip. Like you could play Paperclip, but like no one's breaking Chiashi well anyways. I don't think we can afford this. It's just like Criminal has such an issue with MU. It's like a real bummer. Okay. So that's kind of our basic stuff. We also have to figure out how to win. How do you get Bachlan up to that many counters? You run. Bachlan gets counters for free. Bachlan is not once per turn, it's once per run. And it's the first time you encounter a piece of ice. It doesn't have to be rezzed. Like, you just get enough counters. Like, Bachlan speeds up way faster. Shamal 2 MU console and Crim are cards. Yeah, all the 2 MU consoles are really bad in Criminal. So like Penny Shaver is the one that makes the most sense because we want to be running consistently. Could it be time for Maui? No, it probably shouldn't be. Penny Shaver is just like so good fundamentally with this deck because we want to be running constantly to farm Bachlan, to farm Amakua, to farm Leech. So Penny Shaver is like just better than Paragon. Yeah. Would be awkward if you played Acme. Cat, I feel like it's a threat. Don't cue me. But yeah, is Zamba 2MU? I don't think so, but Zamba's ability is like pretty underwhelming. Oh, it is. It's not a good ability though. We're not gonna be derezing that hard. Like we're gonna be derezing. We're not exposing, excuse me, not derezing, but like that's not gonna happen. Counter only happens if res though. Wait, actually, hold on. Is that true? Ma is really expensive and it's hard to not play Penny Shaver here. I'd rather just like play, you know, if we're playing Chesva, we can play, what's it called? The, I don't like this card that much. The twinning is possible. I think the twinning is reasonable. You could also play, what's it called? Find the Truth. Find the Truth is reasonable if you're being aggressive. That's kind of a nice card. It also forces them to res a bit more than you want them to. I think that's kind of cool. In terms of HQ pressure, I've kind of not like Wake Complaint that much. It's like really hard to get a lot of value off of this, but admittedly, if they de-res, you're in a good spot. Cyberdelia gives MU as a sad card. I would much rather play than Cyberdelia for less influence and for a more proactive game plan DZ. Cyberdelia is like one of my least favorite cards because it falls into, it's like one of the worst tempo cards in some extent. Like maybe you can get it down and run and break and all that sort of stuff, but like I don't know, man. Installing a 3 credit card that doesn't do anything that turns hard. Find the Truth, yeah, Find the Truth is good. It's the problem with Find the Truth though is like against the really heavy Glacier stuff that ices up everything. We're in a bad spot. While the twinning you can actually like get a bit more proactive value from. So who knows? What's our derez? That's a question too. Like how much derez are we playing? Let's just put like fundamental stuff that's definitely gonna be in the deck. Like 3 Bravado. We'll put in 2 Career Fair because I like it. Probably get cut. 3 Diversion seems reasonable. I think playing Tempo Credit Kiting can make sense if we're just playing normal stuff. Man, T400 is so bad. Hey, OS, sad there isn't MU for Cuban. That's exactly the thing, is like there's so many interesting cards that are actually way more aggressive than they look that we just don't play with. Because you have to make these really hard decisions about what takes up MU. And so MU just goes to best in slot, right? Like I'd love to play Cubone in a D-res deck. You put this on an ice that isn't being res, you pass it, you gain 2 credits. But you can't because you have to play Leech, probably you have to play Chesva maybe, and like it's worse than both of those options, right? Like imagine we played Wake Implant and then we played Flux Capacitor, right? Like there's so many cool things that are not happening. T400 buys you more turns versus Keeling. I don't know if we're trying to make a deck that's going to beat the PE deck, because I don't think we are gonna. Find the Truth with Mad Dash. Yeah, it's a good one to do Mad Dash with. I think this deck might not Mad Dash that well. We'll see. Okay, let's just get all the other basic stuff that we wanted. Mutual Favor, I think we can play one. It's important to find your Bogalter in certain matchups, I think. It's nice to shuffle the deck. Knob plus Trank and the Turtle and Leech value. Man, I think Knob out of faction is like the coolest thing. It is just incredibly expensive. It is so expensive. Flux to power up Bachlan faster. I don't think you ever have a rate limiting fact with Bachlan. I think you'd rather power up the Twinning or like Wake Implant. Like getting Bachlan one counter sooner is like, it's nothing really. I searched Bachlan. I think Knob Curie is really cool. It gets you 3 MU and then we can like just smash out all the viruses, which is great. A deck that doesn't Mad Dash well, impossible. Some are not good at it. This is cool. I think Penny Shaper, though, is just like so good with the deck fundamentally that we can run and make economy at the same time is really hard. Unless, again, like that's another thing. It's like, why would you play Cubone when you can play Fermenter? Or Tapworm, right? Like best in slot is so difficult. Man, MU. Praying for a card in the next set that fixes MU issues. Hardware that can be overclocked with power counters granting more MU. I've been working on my set. I have like a neutral resource that can like host 1 MU worth of programs. I think that's an interesting design spot to be because, you know, it's not dependable as a resource. I actually like a neutral console that allows you to give you like 2 MU or 3 MU potentially for out of faction cards. I don't know if that's poisonous for the game. It probably has to cost 1 neutral MU, but like having a card like that just like kind of a lot of deck builders I think would be happy to have more MU to build weird stuff. I don't know if it's poisonous or not. All right, this is so far something, right? Like, okay, we're missing Sure Gamble. I'm pretty sure we'll play Dirty Laundry. Feeling Knob is to play. Both of the examples you give were viruses. Yeah, but we're not playing all of those, right? Big MU neutral. Big MU and neutral with influence with a real drawback, I think is kind of cool. If you go Knob, do you get Asmund? I wonder that if we're trying to make low skid and then we start playing like really bad temple cards like Asmund, it might be hard. No Daemons in standard. Yeah, there's no way to cheat MU in standard. If I could have a chargeable chip for MU, I'd be playing Puffer. I don't honestly think you would. I think if you had a chargeable chip, you probably still wouldn't be playing Puffer. So Asmund, for 2 credits, we can go find virus and war weapon and put it on here. At the beginning of return, we draw one of them. So this becomes 2 credits for 2 card draw. Which is like admittedly Los I think can have more money than card draw. Card draw is actually a real big problem with the deck. It's really hard to fix that. So like I think you probably want to play as a neat chip, if not just a Dream Net. Knob Fermenter is kind of like Penny Shaver. Yeah, but only triggers once. Virus is pretty hot right now. All right, we'll try it. We'll try and build D-Res virus stuff. So, okay, what are we cutting? We have Knob Curie. So first time we successful run, place a virus counter. I think inherently before we back out of this, because it's going to be a bad idea, is that like Knob Curing your tranquilizers can't be that good. It can't be that good because it just does it a turn faster. Yeah, with Solimir, you know, we've gone off the rails. Like it doesn't do that much that quicker. Yeah, no, there's no way. I don't think this card is worth playing. I think just playing any other D-Res card is better. Like Rubicon is better. I think Emergency Shutdown is underrated. Emergency Shutdown wins games. I miss making Leprechaun stacks. They warned you about that, but we still did it. We still stacked them 10 tall. All right, what else are we playing? We'll play 2 shutdowns. I'm worried that we don't have a win condition. Knobbing the Tranks isn't that great, but the MU is nice. Yeah, I think knobbing the Tranks just doesn't. And it doesn't give you additional value. It gets you to the break point 1 turn sooner, which is like not that important. Oh, to be cursed with the knowledge of what is good. Oh, kind of, sort of. So what do you mean is you're playing Cordyceps? Sats, how's it going? How's your smoky part of the world? Cordyceps, yeah. Nah. Cookbook Knob, unless you need to recharge a Trank after a purge. That's the thing is like, I really want to play Cookbook, but Cookbook you have to play 2 and that's 6 MU. And then like, you just don't have enough, 6 influence. And then you don't have enough influence to play Fermenter. But like Cookbook's kind of cool if you're playing all this sort of package we want to play. It's just like, you probably don't play it in a criminal deck. Man, I want to play Tranquilizer. I wonder how good this thing is. But I'm pretty sure we just play 2 DZMs at Optimizers and think like we're pretty happy with ourselves. Right? Like that seems reasonable. Okay, so now we have to play all the resources that we've kind of denied ourselves from playing so far. So what do we want to play? There is a Miss Bones, which was kind of like, you know, taking your medicine. You just have to do it. Agostina Krim. Sabotage doesn't do anything in small bursts. How are there no fermenters? We have no. I'd rather play liberated counts in Career Fair, I'll be honest. 2 class act, not enough card draw. We have 5 influence left over. Are there other good resources that we care about? Daily Cast, Earthrise. Career Fair has good targets. Still don't get the DZ 2400. You're not netting like 2 credits. I want to play the card and feel happy about it. I want to feel happy. Beth, okay, wait. Liberated accounts. We can play a bunch of these because we have Career Fair. It feels good. We're 47 cards, not a problem. We need enough card draw. How do you just get good card draw? What is card draw nobody plays? That's like good. Deuces for more draw. It's not it's pretty marginal. The deuces for Amaku Expose, I think, is a bigger thing. This is the card that I want. And I have a card like this in the set that I'm working on that like I would pay so much influence for this in Los. Draw 1 card whenever the corp res is a piece of ice. Whenever. You know how fire this thing is? I've never seen anyone play this. It's 2MU, obviously. That's bad. But back in the day, we had better ways to cheat this out. But give this to first time a turn and put it on a virtual resource. Oh, it'd be so good. I just want to get free card draw while running. Oh. We don't play it because it was 2MU? Yeah. Yeah, it was like, you could consider it maybe in like the Cloud Geist circa 2015. Yeah, it's a cool, I don't know why there's not more cards that benefit when things are res. That was a big part of old. Poor Daredevil. Daredevil's 1 influence. Daredevil's a 2MU console that's 1 influence. I think DreamNet's like unfortunately the best slot here. Like maybe you could play, I don't think we have a big reason to play Zenith. Like DreamNet, we have Career Fair, but we're over cards. Like we don't have enough card draw and we have 4 too many cards. I'll play 46. We have 2 too many cards. It only makes sense in hyper aggressive decks that would face check early. Yeah, I'm hoping that's exactly what Los is though. Like we want to face check everything. So is Gauntlet. Yeah, but Gauntlet doesn't do anything. Gauntlet's bad. I don't like Gauntlet. All right, what are we doing here? We cut the Fractor. We're never going to install that, let's be honest. Is 2 Tranquilizer enough? Am I right? We have 3 influence, so like you just jam in 3 deuces wild. And now we end up cutting like the worst cards. Gauntlet does plenty. It makes you spend 5 credits and regret all your choices. Honestly, with the twinning, I think I'd rather, instead of playing Gauntlet, like no joke, play Maui. Because this plus twinning, unstoppable. You cannot stop us. We literally cannot be stopped. And Cipher, yeah. Actually, I think I got a deck list of the week on RNB, which is Los with Cipher, which like, it turns out that's good. Surprise. All right, we're going to cut that. We're not going to queue up into asset spam. No joke, play Maui, good joke. What else have we didn't cut? Mutual favor. We have no boomerang for what it's worth. And maybe we don't need it. 3 credits for Penny Shaver plus 2 credits for T400s, 5 credits for a Maui. You're right, we actually built our own Maui. But we also need, okay, we don't have enough multi-access. Like here, I think we want a Docklins, but again, I think we're going to cut the Docklins in like 1 second. Should make a Maui and Chedzva Steve deck. That seems cool. I'm into that. That's a lot of recurring credits for running HQ. Okay, that seems better. Okay, so this opening hand, we'd just probably do credit liberated, hit liberated, liberated. Then we'd set up so we can do flip switch Amaku and start running. Admittedly, yeah, because we have to get our money down. From here, we just like, look how long it takes us to find card draw. Somebody, okay, raise your hand once you see card draw. Okay, 11 cards in. Okay, now raise your hand when you see card draw. Okay. 17 cards in. We can run a single big expensive console. I'd rather something splashy like Ma. Yeah, Penny Shaver's really good in the deck though. We never find our breakers. Our breakers just Amakua. No casts. We're 50 cards, Solomir. Like, I don't know what to do. This is why like you end up cutting Tranquilizer. Like we all have to agree that we're going to cut some fundamentals. Maybe it's Paragon for the filter draw. The thing is like Paragon is comparable, but from my experience, Penny Shaver is so good in these lists because one of the best plays you have is like run archives twice to get Leech to get Amakua, right? Like, because you need to build the Amakua up consistently. The Penny Shaver is really, really, really good. Paragon is like the other option, but like that's better if you're running once a turn. But I find myself running 2 or 3 times a turn pretty consistently. Blue Diesel is not like good card draw. I'd rather like Earthrise. I think Earthrise is what we need. Like I want to draw 6 cards on a single card, not like Blue Diesel draw 2. Yeah, I think we need Earthrise, but this is where we start cutting cards, and then you figure out that we basically built the same criminal deck that everyone's been building, right? Like you just end up with a bad 4/9 list. Can we clear influence for Nuka? I had Nuka in the first version of this deck. Could we clear influence? Yeah, it's like Deuce is Wild, which like, yeah, I'm in. We're gonna miss that expose. Oops, I undid what I did. Lib into Nuka? Yeah, maybe we can do one. Mind you, Liberty counts as money, and this deck has multiple ways to make money, but not a lot of ways to draw cards. Okay, we're at 55 cards, so like we should just become a Hoshiko deck. I hate this part in Netrunner. Bravado, Career Fair, Deuces, Dirty, Diversion, Emergency Shutdown, Mutual Favor. So we can all agree the card that's the least important is Emergency Shutdown, and this is how you end up building, you know, the deck everyone builds, okay? Then we go here, Docklands, Flip Switch. So our deck has only 2 multi-axis cards. That's a huge issue. One being Docklands, one being Flip Switch. There's a chance that we can drop the Docklands and then just play like multiple copies of like what's it called? Jailbreak, and like make the difference of having a bit of card draw and a bit of multi-axis. That's good. Dump Dreamnet. I feel like that Dreamnet is better than the third Earthrise. Career Fair is a really good card. I think Career Fair is better than Dirty Laundry. But I'm broken like that. We're 52. Dump Docklands. We have no multi-axis. This is like click for credit criminal, right? It's like we're back to like 419 emergency. What's it called? Overstate AI. Whatever one. The one that makes you res ice. And then like we cut Tranquilizer, right? Just play 53 cards and be happy. Genuinely, I think it would make me happier. If Ian can top 3 with FAO, you can make E Shutdown work. Yeah. Yeah. This card's so good. No Boomerang is a bit risky because we have no way to cheat. So we're going to add 2 cards. All right. Let's fix this. So what do we need? What's a fair corp deck to play against this Los? Drop third doof, too hard to land early. Now that we've had the Boomerangs, not really. How much are you trading the twinning? Mushin, I'm hoping every turn because we have two Chedzwa. That's the hope. But like we cut this, we have no multi-axis on R&D. Why not Cortez? Because it's like Cortez is quintessentially card 53, right? Like good, okay, but we already have 55 cards. Why do you need T400? Because we have our rig is Amakua, Upbreaker, Chezva, Leech, Tranquilizer or something. It's really difficult. Okay, so we're gonna cut the cards that are not necessary. We'll get rid of Career Fair. I want to cut Bravado. No, that can't be it. Don't do that. Pinhole. We'll cut 1 diamond. Great. A Boomerang. Bachlin's fired. Daily casts. Our ability says daily cast on it. Why do we need daily? Hey, 48. We're doing good. Ditch the run economy. Embrace the jank. The thing is, like, we need to have a good, like, that's the thing with Los. It's like you have to have a good reason to force them to res. They're gonna res anyways. I think you drop down 1 Backlund Trank shutdown. I refuse. I fundamentally refuse. And like with good, not to be petty, but like we need to try this stuff, right? The great irony of the channel is that Andre wants to build creatively, but Jaina is full of tryhards. Like me using comp murder decks, ruining his fun. Yeah, I remember the game we played. How's it going? 48. That's good. That's good. This is good enough. Let's place this next. Sankas. This is good enough. Matroyshka Esâ. I think like if we didn't have Amakua, I think the next thing we try on Matryoshka, but like Amakua is just so good. And we have flip switch, so like a lot of the downsides of getting purged out are like we don't get face check punished. Give up laundry. I would consider it. But we also have Penny Shaver, Leech, Amakua. Click for credits. It's so messed up that like the end state that we want to build all criminal decks to is just click for credits. Because we have only so many slots to use on the basic criminal cards that show up in every single criminal deck that it's like fundamentally difficult to build something. Like this is the thing, is like we have to convince ourselves that at some point the Bravado is going to be less good than something interesting that only this ID can do. And unfortunately, I don't think we're there, right? Like, do you know what the card that we have no D-res besides 2 E shutdowns, right? Oh, and Tranquilizer. Like, what's the name of the guy who gets view value for derezzing? I think he has a Greek name. Do you know who I'm talking about? Kyros McIntyre? That's not a Greek name. Maybe Kyros was. Right? Like the first time you derez a piece of ice, you turn gain 2 credits. We can build harder into that. Like, I think we're going to play a game with this. We're going to see how it is, and then we're going to go back and build more into derez. Like, we're going to play Rubicon Switch, we're going to play derez, and we're going to just like Amakua derez. That's it. Anarch has a similar problem, but they get to 48 and haven't spent enough influence, and then they just play 64 anyways, because you have Hoshiko, you have all the card draw in the world. Runner. Should have put Reprise in. How many cards are we? 48? Yeah, maybe. Reprise is a derez card, right? Let's be honest. All right, sports. That can't be great. Twinning though in her hand is great. Hey, dear. Opening hand, Amakua, double dirty laundry. What are we worried about face checking into? Hagen. The twinning is only good once we draw 2 of our cards from our deck. We have no card draw in this hand, but I think we have the 1 multi-axis card in our deck. 2 dirty laundries in our turtle. Best of luck, have fun. 3 extra prize go for broke. I'm honestly kind of there. But I think if we wanted to do that, we'd have to play like legwork. We'd have to play like a bit more like burst multi-axis. Like you just probably play jailbreak, right? I'm so used to forcing them to pay a credit there. All right, so it seems like a Rashida. Do we run first click? What's the worst case? Gatekeeper? I think we want to run first click. They can't res Fairchild here, so we don't have to worry about that. But I think we need to force them to res. Like this is the trade that actually feels so good with Los. It's like to protect the Rashida on turn 1, they have to give us 2. Never mind. All right, and we actually can pre-install like these things on cell. Oh, that's really bad. Well, we will derez that. So we could get that Amakua and then Dirty Laundry. I don't think we do. I don't think they res on cell on this board. So we're going to try and keep that. That's really good. Like we can just Tranquilize with ice and they just trash the ice. I'll just put the flip switch down. We can face check anything. Love seeing the Los building. It's the only deck I've ever built and generated NP for some folks. Rip GPI, Net Tab, Samajank. Mark, how's it going? Yeah, no, I know those decks really well. There's some really poisonous ones. There's some cards that got banned around this sort of archetype. That was like pretty unintuitive how messed up they were. All right, so we're just going to smash. I wish, again, we just had some card draw here. Hagen, that's a really bad face check into Amakua. They have 6 credits, so we can force a res here, and worst comes to worst, we jack out with the flip switch. We're not playing around any of the defensive upgrades. That's a Hagen. So we just got 2. We have to flip switch here. We lose the breaker. So we're gonna. Now we can run HQ, because with 2 credits, there's nothing that's going to be resed. They're going to get a Rashida, though, which is pretty bad. A Meganet. Okay. So this, we have a hard time bringing the strength down. Rashida's pretty good. So they have another Hagen, so face checking becomes impossible. So I think we need to like Tranquility this thing. But that's where the flow switch is actually really good. You can just start face checking with Abandon. I wonder if we can get card draw by just playing like the as hardware package. This is the play, right? Like one of this is a Hagen. So that's a problem. We have 1 Boomerang. Oh God, I think we lost the deck. I think we lost the game. I iced up everything. We could have ran first click to like bait a Fairchild because we know this is the least likely to be a Hagen, so we can face check there, but we don't want to do that on third click or second click. Oh, yeah, that's something. All right, this will get derezed in 2 turns. Will they re-res it? Probably not. But it was a 6 credit swing the turn it came in. It's kind of cool. I just don't think you want to really be contesting the Sports Metal remote server. And they still, if we run into this, like that's the ugliness of Tranquilizer, they can still res it. It only checks on derez at the start of turn, and technically when it's installed, but that's very hard to make relevant in standard anymore. Yeah, that's probably what was going to happen, wasn't it? Let's run HQ. If we find the last Hagen, we're in a really bad spot. So far, we got 2 credits for their ability, but we know they have Hagen, which I think is actually one of the worst face checks. Okay, that fires, unfortunately. So we got 4 credits from our ability. Drafter is going to recur. Card from the bin, and they can get an install. So a red level went back. Rashida's in the remote server, trashing a card in there. So I don't know what was in there. Hate to see it. So we can shut down this drafter. We don't have anything going on that actually might be the right thing to do. But we know Rashida's going to fire, so economy is probably going to be reasonable. So draw, that's good. We can draw once more and decide what to do last click. Penny Shaver coming down last click. Pretty expensive install. We can go back. Trank feels sad if you cannot consistently install it on some really big ice. Yeah, in this deck, that's probably the most expensive ice that exists besides, well, we saw an Ansel and we saw we were expecting a Fairchild. Can't de-res on install anymore? Too soon? Yeah. Yeah. So I think we just draw once. Like, we probably actually pinhole HQ. What am I thinking? We pinhole the Rashida for sure. Yeah, that seems better. So I wonder where they over-installed, right? Like, it seemed to be an acid, or it's probably just like one of those early shitty agendas nobody's excited to score out. Right? Like a Mega Pre or the... I never remember the other one. I never remember the name of the other one. The gain 3 on score steal. Whatever that one's called. Trank doing so much work. It actually might have been better to trash the Trank than the Rashida, considering that we're bad at contesting this. Hyperloop, thank you. But it's Hyperloop and then something. All right, we got it. So here we could do like Boomerang, run R&D. If it's a Hagen, we need 2 credits though, so we're short on that. So we need money here. Oh God, this is a disaster. We cut the career fairs, right? Oh, that's so bad. Then we have to click to 3 credits to put down a Liberated. Hyperloop was in your CEO winning Thule deck. Could you forget? I don't remember the name. I just don't remember the name. It's one of those ones that evades me, like fully operational, or the yellow one that lets you fast advance one advancement counter. Like I don't know what that one's called. Oh, this is so bad. Yeah, doesn't feel good. This is the slowest sports medal game though you've seen probably in a minute. All right, just a Vitruvius. We feel pretty okay about that. Gain 2. So we have to sniff out where the what's it called, the Hagen is, because we are short 1 strength on this thing. I think we have to just hit this button, unfortunately. But I don't know what we're doing with the credits. Like next turn, it's like Penny Shaver, Boomerang, run R&D. But like the amount of multi-axes we have to generate to win from this board state is really difficult. Admittedly, once we get this up to 5 strength, though, we can contest the remote server, no problem. This list probably has my viruses, though. Yeah, Tranquility is just giving them, I think, 8 credits. They purged. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I don't think the Penny Shaver is worth it. I don't think we are going to get enough runs off of it. Maybe we have to believe in ourselves to have a chance here. I don't know if they have to res. There's the Hagen. Okay, so we found it. So this could be anything. So we've got 6 credits so far for an ability. Like, that feels good. Food, okay, that's points. We don't get an Amakua counter. And like, I think you realize how bad the card draw is in this deck, unfortunately. Draw. You're going to see that play a lot where we just click to draw. It feels awful. It feels so bad to click to draw. Man, Hashika absolutely spoils us. 2 Rashidas going back in with the Spin Doctor. So Biotic. Let's see a Luminal here. It has to be a Luminal. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know if you Biotic out to 4 points unless it's a Luminal. So the cool thing is with the Amakua down on nothing, we can just like face check this Hagen and force a res. Like maybe that's a Gatekeeper. That would be the worst case. But if the Hagen fires and trashes our Amakua, I think that's fine. Like our Amakua is not going to spin up. Well, here actually we could run Archives to force a res. I think that's fine too. But we want to maybe contest the remote server. Here they would have to pay 4 to trash our Amakua. Like I think at this point we have to give up on the turtle, unfortunately. And then just like naturally draw into our 1 of breakers, of which we have no way to break the Hagen besides Amakua. Hold on. Let's go Archives. I think there's an agenda in here for sure, which maybe is not good. 8 credits. We've got 8 credits. That's good. Clicklessly too, technically, sort of. Drafter's gonna fire. Hey Brennan, how's it going? Red level coming back. Wow. This thing's done a lot of work. I think you're gonna play this one 3 times. Sorry I'm late. No, you're good. Unseen card, trashing over something. So it looks like we're going to access a card here. We could jack out, but I think we're going to steal some bad agendas. Whoa, Moonpool Sports. We hadn't seen that in a long time. That means there might be more 1-pointers than normal. So in the remote server. Okay. The version's like kind of interesting. What's in the remote server? Do we know? Unseen. Okay, face down. went into the remote, right? Probably saved an agenda. Yeah, I think they took an agenda out of archives, put in server 1. Moonpool Sports was a thing, I believe, in Continental seasons of last year. We saw it. I forget who was playing it, but there was one player that made the top at Continentals with Moonpool Sports. We didn't see much after it, and I think even they said like Moonpool was way more work than Audacity is, because it is a similar idea. Lucifer, thank you. But it was like, it was a thing. So here we could expose an ice and make a run. That's generally the best thing we can do, but unfortunately all these servers like really suck to run on. They're really bad. Again, if we had leeches, like we'd be at a much better spot. We actually could run if we had a leech. So I think we're just going to do the draw. Hey, leech. We don't need more money. We don't need the MU. We don't need the pinhole. FA to GFI on me and Intercontinentals from 6 credits. Yeah, we'll put this down. We have to tank, I think, the drafter once. So we got to discard a card here. I don't think we need the sure gamble. There's probably worse cards there. Oh, that's a good thing to have in a remote server. Yeah. Okay. Red level. Non-agenda. Clicklessly. That's ice. That's good. Yeah, that's the respect for the leech. They're on game point. We lose next turn. Taking a drafter against sports? Yeah, well, we didn't know what it was. Oh, on this turn, I feel like maybe we have to. But I think that's a losing play. Like, we lose this turn no matter what. So I think we have to just run HQ and hope. So it's turn 9, and I think we're going to get 10 free credits from our ability. Like, that actually seems reasonable, as much as this deck doesn't seem like it's it. And we did some things that probably weren't worth doing. Like, maybe you do just need to, like, get a Bugalter down as fast as possible. But, like, the ability seems reasonable. It seems kind of fine. You probably shouldn't let drafters fire. If we run HQ, they can use drafter to install a winning agenda. Yeah, but then we can run this, maybe. Right? Like, we know the Hagen is going to be 5 strength. So what could we do? What did they install? Card from HQ. The thing is, like, if they could have just pulled Biotic back. Like, obviously, we're running the drafter is going to lose us the game eventually. Like, kind of right now, sort of. So we could go back. This could be a Fairchild. I think if there is a Fairchild, we're happy. We've only got 8 credits so far. But we have to run this at 5 strength. So we run HQ, run server 1. Like, we got to make ridiculous plays. Otherwise, it's like very hard for us to win from this spot. But we just have to be at 5 strength. Emergency shutdown? Yeah, it's not worth the click. They can afford to re-res this. Right, like the winning agenda is probably in their remote server. It's not about denying them 3 credits. It's about getting this up to speed. E shutdown then doof. I think they can score out on like 1 credit. Right? Like if they have Audacity, which maybe they don't. But like we get them down to 5 credits, I think they still score. Hold on, we can break this if we want to. So we'd go down to 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think we break this one once. That seems like maybe a bit too little too late. But then what do we do if this is like FC3 into Hagen? I think that's a Rashida, right? Maybe not. So if we let this fire, we'll be on 3-3. Yeah, I think we can break this one. So we just don't want to steal or trash. So we want to not hit an agenda here. Perfect. So now we can deal with the Hagen. A virus is going to have something to say about it if it exists. Here they probably have to res. Resing the Hagen for them is really bad. The problem is like it is one of the few face checks that like just trashes Amakua that exists in the format. But like we're playing the hand we were dealt with this deck, so I think hitting the draft there a couple times is just gonna happen. At least they're thinking about it, so that seems cool. That's neat. We're making them play our game. Our game has gained 2 more credits. But imagine here that we had to like draw through our deck to find the appropriate breakers, right? Like a Sentry Breaker, a Fracture. Like Yamaku Leech just does everything for you. I think maybe we play 3 Leech. It's just so good. Like imagine we just did Amakua Leech and then like, yeah, let's try that. And then just like, what's it called? Rubicon. No further. Okay, so we're getting in here. This is a really bad res. I don't think they res this. Yeah, okay. Rashida, yeah, that tracks. Trank, I think at this point, probably have to deny the card draw. Red level to draw 2. They get a click back here. That means they have Biotic. Second red level, they don't have it. So they're drawing here for an Audacity, maybe an Agenda. But they didn't pull the Biotic back, so I'm assuming they have another Biotic. They did ice up. Wow, okay. It's all red levels. I think that's maybe necessary for Moonpool. Okay, they have it. Yeah. Cool. Good game. They played 3 red levels in a single turn. That's largely because we gave them a whole bunch of them. Good game. Yeah, that's not easy for us. We only got 8 credits from our ability, which honestly, gaining 8 credits from a 9-turn game like seems okay. I don't know what the cutoff point is before your ID gets really bad, but like it's really hard to slow down to de-res the stuff. And like we literally played no card draw cards, which is just I think a problem every time I played this deck is like you just don't draw cards fast enough to like keep up with any deck. Let's try one more. Right? Like it's the huge issue. Oh, we're playing against Eric. It's a huge issue with like, I don't know, not playing Hoshiko. It's hard to get enough card draw in there. Oh, Isawak. Eric was playing Isawak at the, on his VODs. Hey. Oh, he was talking about playing Isawak. I'm not sure what he's doing in Isawak, whether it's traps or not. I don't believe in Isawak. Los feels like it's okay, just hard to compare with 419. Yeah, I think like obviously we didn't spend all our money in the last matchup, but I don't know if 419 was a very clearly better ID. Best of luck, have fun. So this is gonna probably have some amount of big ice, so getting some D-res is really good. Our hand has a bit of card draw, but no economy. The best card in here is Flip Switch and Class Hack. We're gonna mulligan again. Oh, that's a fair bit better. This is a deck of deuces that has 1 deuces, and we played it. But it's like deuces is such a nice part of the Amakua package. So you can expose an ice, make a run, and then suddenly your Amakua's a bit better. Even also like it's another card I don't remember the name of consistently. Falsified Credentials is also very good in these sort of lists. 419 have triggered so many times on our turn though. On our turn? Oh, you're right, because yeah, face tanking drafters is usually not the play. But yeah, you're right. All right, 6 credits. Let's go. Let's go get our money. Do we need hunting grounds in this matchup? I don't think we do. Let's do this first. So there's some situations here we die. To like a Saisentan, we could die here, I guess. But 6 is a really good number. It's not 8. 8 is where we get scared. But I want to get this guy down soon because I don't think Isawak has a lot of money. No further. Nice. Be okay to take a sprint. Weird. Okay. We didn't get our sweet 2 credits. We didn't, yeah, you're right. We don't get Bachlan. We don't encounter de-res cards. Okay, that's really good. With this, we can just start face checking. It's important to know you can jack out during the approach. So even if you run into, as long as you don't mash the button on JNet, if you run into like a Nancy, you're in an okay spot. All right, well, probably an NGO front. Yeah, so it's 12 credits. So I think we still want to draw into something that gives us forward momentum. None of these cards give us forward momentum. And our deck is very like momentum based. Like, what do we do? I think like it's really nice to have Pinhole in this matchup. I think we can discard Hunting Grounds. I don't know what ice we care about that would maybe IP block. The thing is like Eric is new to standard, so there's a chance that like a lot of the like pretty good standard cards just get included into decks because people recommend them. Like, oh, you can play IP block if you're frustrated with Turtle. So maybe I'll draw one. That's good. We have no money, but that's okay. I think this is probably the worst card. So yeah, we can face check with the Flip Switch, and we just want to get something rezzed. There's the Sprint. That's the only card we know. Probably, I don't know if you top deck the NGO front, because I think turn 1, you probably ice up at least HQ. Oh, my energy. This is Isawak. I've not considered its ability, because I honestly don't know what it's going to do. Whether it's like you have to get in every turn, or we're going to get seamless launched to Oblivion. But like we have to play around to some extent to Obokata for sure. There's the Hansei, okay. So good money. We have a leech and nothing else. Oh, this is so bad. We need to force a res just to get some economy. So let's go. He drew a lot. Admittedly, it was a sprint. Smells like shell game. I'd be surprised. We haven't seen anything that does that. Like, I don't know what you do sprint into a shell game. No further. Damn it, Los. That makes sense. Obviously, we can't afford that. I'm just going to click for credit there. This feels bad. This doesn't feel powerful. If you don't res ice, we can't get money. The big question is whether he's on Urtica, but the problem is like if he installs a card here and like double seamlesses it, we're in a bad spot. So we have to like force interaction here. Issue is, how do we place liberated counts when we're on 3 credits? Nice. So what is this? 2 net damage? We can take 2 net damage. We want to keep our shutdown. Nice. What do we lose? Fantastic. So if he spends big money here, we just shut this down and run server 2. Seamless? Okay, so we have to shut this down. We have to force him here. Yeah, I've never seen someone res that for as much money as that was. Womp womp. In theory here, we're denying ourselves Los credits. But if he pays for like 14 to protect an agenda, I think we're okay. No further. Ooh. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Well, next turn we can probably play the liberated. That's the thing is like what's really unintuitive with Los is when he had 3 credits, the best thing we can do is run, right? Like if he spends money, we gained money. So that was a click for a lot of value. Okay, now we have to run it. Install advance. So I'm assuming that's an NGO front. It might not be. That's a really good top deck. We need him to res something. I don't think we can use the flip switch on this. So I'm going to get this thing down first, and then we'll run server 2. In theory, if he reses here, that's fine for us. We can take 2 net damage. If we lose our last snake, like ideally we snake this. But I think we'll take the 2 net damage. The flip switch is so much more. Oh, we kept our snake. That's sick. We lost the classic. That's bad. But he's now on 9 credits, so we're going to snake this. And so it'll get de-res in a couple turns. So he's paid 14 credits for what's going to be no ice in 2 turns. And we've gained 4. Probably, yeah, NGO front. There you go. Hedge fund, big money. Okay, so we need to run this. All right. Let's draw up. Now we can run so we don't die to what's it called, to snare or something else. I'm worried here that he can seamless score or Lacosta score out. If he's on a bunch of 5/3s, I think that's fine. This gets de-res next turn. Wait, we can de-res this with Bachlan this turn, can't we? No, we're 1 short. Let's draw once more. I think we bravado HQ. We died a snare though. You think this deck is playing snare? I want him to res. Let's draw once more. Yeah, let's go HQ. We just want to provoke a res here. He hasn't resed many times before, so I'm assuming this thing is pretty expensive. Yeah. Spin. Can't trash it, unfortunately. But this will be de-res next turn, so like if he Lacostas... Oh, Rashida. Great. That's, I think, better for us. Kester might be part of the Snare Secret Society because the Secret Society there's no way to know. Yeah, we haven't played yet. So I don't know. Also, Eric is like new to Standard. Obviously, check out the Neon Static. You can hear about him and his friend's journey into it. So like a lot of times the play patterns from newer players are a fair bit different, you know? So sometimes it's even harder to read, which is a huge advantage. Hansei, lots of money. That might be an agenda in archives. I actually would check that to play around with Genesis. There goes down that ice. Okay. So we can play the Penny Shaver. We have all these credits that we don't want to click, which is really funny. Like I'd rather have a daily cast here than this. But I think we can play down the Penny Shaver. We can check archives. We can run server 2 to force some reses. We can always flip switch out. I think that's fine. We just want to make sure we have enough cards in hand that we don't just die to like a resed. What's the one? The one that does net damage. Oh, there's a virus in here. Oh, that's painful. That's really bad. Okay. So we still have no breakers. Again, the huge thing we're lacking is draw. Let's draw. He has a spin doctor. That could be spin doctor actually. So let's run let's draw one so we don't die to snare, and we can run HQ here. I think there's a big chance that he'll have 4 points next turn. But we respected the Regenesis there in archives. No res. Another Lacosta, that's fine. Yeah, this is the thing. It's like, I wish we just had all that free card draw that you're so used to playing Anarch. It's like, it's hard to be aggressive and get card draw at the same time. Maybe we need to play 2 Dream Nets. Like, we have to give a good reason to res, but he doesn't want to res on HQ. It's a Lacosta. Okay, so something's going to get scored out. I think Nisei Mark II is probably the Nightmare. Seamless. Second Seamless would be sick. That's really good. Now we really need to contest HQ. Ooh, that's good. We get 2 credits on this. It's an Anansi. Okay, so we're going to de-res that. But that's really good. Now, if you install something in server 2, that's pretty bad. Because we need to get the Spin Doctor. Because if you can't recur the seamless launches, the deck loses so much value. But he has to score a 1 more 5-3. Yeah, this is, we can lose. We can lose not next turn, maybe. But mind you, this power counter means he wins on 6 agenda points. And like, we're just struggling to contest this. Now we know we can contest this if we just get another virus counter. So we can actually run this. And I think it's a Spin Doctor. So let's start by running HQ. Yeah, he's running big ones. Accessing with less than 4 cards in hand is also a mistake. Okay. So how do we do this? We need 1 more virus counter to get rid of the Anansi. I think that's a Spin Doctor. I don't think we can contest it. That's kind of, the ship has sailed. We could always get the Chesva down. I don't think it's most important. We just need to get more card draw. That can be good. But again, we can't break ice. We just want to force a res here. We've only got 4 credits from low so far. It's been pretty bad. Tithe. That's ugly. We got 6 credits. We lost the boomerang. We needed that. Just spin. Trashing this feels pretty bad because there's a spin in hand, which is probably there. So I don't think we're going to do that. Not the best. Yeah, it's tricky. Yeah, I don't think we have any purchase here, right? Like, we have no multi-access. Oh, great. We drew. Bakken will get the 3rd counter when you counter Nazi. Yeah, I don't think we want to de-res it this turn because I think it's a Spin Doctor. Yeah, it's definitely a Spin Doctor. Yeah, so I don't think we need to contest this. But yeah, the card draw is so bad here. We probably just need to draw cards. So Spin Doctor draws 2, Seamless. That's really important. But I think we're just not going to be able to get enough pressure. Like, we just don't do anything fast enough. Hansei, really good. So the 1 card in hand is a Lacosta. Okay, so we need to just get card draw. That gets us an Amakua. I don't want to run archives. We could risk running R&D here. Do we risk running R&D here? I think we do. We have all this money we're not interacting with. So just don't hit the mutual favor. That's acceptable. That's a good steal. So we can run this. Oh, we're 1 short. Ivik is 5 strength, right? Ugly. I think that's a Spin Doctor, though. We know that. Could I recommend Verbal Plasticity to you? Honestly, yeah. I think I had it in the version I was playing. That's a Spin Doctor, so we don't have to run that. Oh, we have to do that, right? So they can have a credit, 20 to 21. It only sort of matters. But we need to lock the top of the deck. Ice Wall. Whoa, okay. So actually running Ice Wall too. We don't have a Fracture. That's okay. So server 1 is advanced. Wait, isn't that a Spin Doctor? Oh, because they threw out a card with Hansei. We don't have perfect information on the hand. That could be anything. I think this is the Lacosta. So was the 1 card in hand Spin Doctor? Why did we install the Liberated? At that point in time, we needed it. We have not needed it since. Like, we have this button to click for 7. Yeah, but Lacosta... So there is something in the remote server. That is the winning agenda in the remote server. I know it's a Lacosta advance, but the Lacosta can be any card. So it could, in theory, be a Spin Doctor, but the Spin Doctor is there. So they threw out a Lacosta. They have an Ice Wall in hand. That is the Spin Doctor. Okay, that's good to know. But that, in theory, could be like a... What's it called? A virus, even. But we can run server 2, no problem. Here, I think we just put on... We draw once, play down the Chesva, run R&D for free. Okay, they didn't discard a card. Okay, they advanced this. So they can win next turn if we don't get in here. So I think we have to play around Obokata. So we need to make sure that we know exactly what this ice is. We need to make sure that we have exactly 4 cards in hand. Figured it out. So maybe on Punitive, I think we're okay against that. So I think we just have to run this. I think we just run this, right? Like this, we can de-res. This we break for 2. We probably should take the Penny Shaper money to trash the Locosta, because I think they trash the other Locosta. Not that they need Locosta going forward, actually. I think we don't trash the Locosta. Wait, that was wrong then. I don't think we trash the Locosta. It's like nice for them, but it's not the most important. I actually, it does change their play patterns, because they have to... They're unlikely to have double seamless at this point. We also don't have Mad Dash. Oh man, it's so hard for us to close games. We have to get lucky. Okay, so this we de-res. We clear the tag. We have to run this. 2 NGOs are out. Yeah. So this is going to cost us 2, which we're going to get the money. I think we just send it. I think we just send it. Bachlan. De-res the spider. They resed it for free. It doesn't feel too bad, I hope. The text is turned off, so we don't take the damage. Now, if they want to res this, it'll be de-res immediately. So I don't think they res this. Unless they're really comfortable with their money. Because this, unless they purge next turn, it gets de-resed immediately. And let alone we break this for straight up free. Well, it costs us all our leech counters, actually. So it's not exactly free. It's a hard choice. I don't know if you res that there. It's a 9 credit swing, right? So we know this is an Ibik, which they res for full 7. So that means they spent 21 credits on this one piece of ice. And then start a turn against de-resed if they don't purge. It's so bad. That's so rough. This is a good candidate for the Tranquilizer, not a Hagen. Yeah, exactly. Or on install, technically. Yeah, so this thing only checks at certain windows. Yeah, yeah. So can you pay that much money to make us use the leech counters? Yeah, maybe. Honestly, maybe. Ah, they do it! Okay, so that's 21 credits on this one. Okay, so we're going to have to leech down. We have to break all the subroutines. Because we're expecting that to be an Obokata. I'd be so jazzed if that was another send a message. And so they just like re-res all the stuff we worked on. So we've gone, I think, 6 to 8 credits on our ability. Offworld. Whoa. They greeted that. I don't think he had to do that. I think you want to score that one out. This one we don't trash. It's really hard to play like a mixture of these, right? Because this takes you up to 5 points. Maybe at that point you're also running real 1-pointers. So we'll hit this button. Do we clear the tag? I think we do clear the tag. Okay, so now we just have to steal send a message or Obokata. So we have some pressure on R&D. We have our rig. I think they really need to put another piece of ice somewhere that they actually can threaten to res. And we know there's an 8 credit threat here. And this is going to get de-res if he doesn't purge. We got to run it back. Stall advance. Okay. So could be the winning agenda. That went down. So here we have to get a lot of accesses. So if we run R&D, we need to get to 5 strength. Luckily, these are the same amount of strength. So it could easily be an NGO front. Also could be the one that just ends a run. We can run R&D. So we can run R&D a couple times. Just like another leech, right? Like it's just so good. We want to break all of these, I think. Eventually at some point we won't be able to. We don't want to steal or trash here because we need to get the Amaku counter. So we run back. I'm trying to score an Isawakt 4-2. Yeah, I think that's probably the goal. And the cool thing is like we get the money we need to break these ice when we encounter them. So we're at 5 here. We could go up to 7. So the question is, what the heck is this? He can't res both of these. So I think we're safe to just run it, right? Well, no, he could, but he would have to pop the NGO front, which is like goal completed. So he probably reses the Anansi, which again is now good money for us. And if he reses the Yivik, we can just, well, he'd have to pop an NGO, so we can just jack out with the flip switch. So I'm assuming this is an NGO. Do you want to spend 28 credits on Ivik? Bachlan install? I don't think we have the time to do it. It's an NGO. Yeah, that's great. Okay. Okay, cool. So here we either install the Bachlan. We know there's a spin doctor at the top and a spin doctor here. I'd rather him draw the spin doctor, so I don't want to pressure this. So I think we just want to get accesses and credits. Like if he purges here, it's fine. I think we want to get our money up and then we'll get the Bachlan next turn. Yeah, we just need to make sure we're always accessing with 4 cards. So I don't know if we want to get the Bachlan down. -6 credit resource. -2 so far. Okay, spin doctor, was that before mandatory? No, after mandatory. So that's the second spin doctor or the third spin doctor. Okay. So what was shuffled back? NGO front and sprint. So there's one NGO back in the deck. The one that was just cracked, I guess. That's what you need. Okay, we need to find out whatever server we think we can run the cheapest. And it's probably this one. Okay. Just constant pressure. If we ever slow down for one moment, we're in a bad spot. He drew a lot with spin doctor. So I think we need to go HQ. We need to keep 4 cards in hand. So we know we can get through here. Our money's okay. So I think we can probably draw a Bachlan, run HQ. We don't need the Bachlan. It's too slow. It's a bit too slow. Because if that's the... oh yeah, Ice Wall. That's fine. We got 2 credits. Gained money. This hasn't been res forever. I think it's a Chiashi. Oh, I shouldn't hit continue to movement. Oh. You know, it takes 2 influence, gives you money accident. Ain't no way, it's a swordsman. Damn, hot tech. That's fine though. We just hit this button. But that's really, really sick. That is so sick. All right, bye. I'm so surprised you didn't do it. Yeah, that one lies in a way. I was thinking a Chiashi. That's sick. So this is one of the like really hard tech cards that nobody plays this one. They play generally the other ones, which are a bit softer tech cards, but generally better, I think, ice against more matchups. But that thing's really terrifying. If that connects, we lose the game. In some sorts. Getting actually 2 counters on Bachlan will survive that. So now they can't res both of these because it's 15, so we just run server 2. Yeah, if we didn't have the flip switch there, we get blown out. But we can't mining accident here, Rob, right? How's it going, by the way, Rob? Like, they have enough money. Like, Chad's was just as good. Nice. So, unfortunately, we already got our 2 credits here. And we know this next one is an Ivic, which still costs 7. Somehow no code gates have been rezzed. I splashed one of them because of my startup decks, because a lot of people are maining Matroyshka. Yeah, I think in startup, like, there is a fair bit. I don't know. Maybe. I don't play enough startup, but I know people have done it. Hey, Tataki. Hey, it's been a bit. Oh, man, I've not watched Netrunner in ages. Yo, how's it going? Hopefully you're doing well. It's been a minute. They could have rezzed that. He could have rezzed that to make us faceplant and Anansi. Oh, you didn't want to res that? I think he might not have realized that he could have forced us into a Nancy. It's been so many minutes. Things are good. Hope things are going good. I guess I should tell you that this is probably our last stream on Twitch, unfortunately. So if you want to watch Netrunner on YouTube, no, to purge on the encounter with the Anansi. I spelled Anansi wrong, but we know what I meant. Yeah. I think he didn't realize the interaction. You can do that at any paid ability window, right? Welcome back to Fold. After your stable build stream, I was inspired to build this Yawn Fest, and it's all been playing since. Oh yeah, it's hot fire. Yeah, they could have rezzed when we encountered, which would have been really good. Okay, well, we got purged out. My virus is in our archive, so we can always get back up to 1 strength, but that means we're gonna have to draw through our deck to find our breakers. That ain't it. That helps though. Yeah. Yeah, we'll both be broke. As in you're moving to YouTube or stopping streaming. You're no longer allowed to simul stream on Twitch. They changed the rules 2 days ago. So this stream is actually against terms of service. So if you're streaming onto 2 channels at the same time, it's illegal. And y'all, this is exactly what I was talking about before. There's a whole bunch of people that have subscribed to Twitch because I've been on Twitch longer than YouTube, who now like Netrunner has disappeared to some extent. It's a really bad feeling. Hedge fund, nice. We have to run this every turn. Imagine we just had a breaker. I heard about that. Yeah, Twitch police are coming. It's not good. So we just had breaker. So we need basically to draw our 1 in 21 of our Bugalter. We need a Bugalter. We played our mutual favor. We haven't played it. We have played our mutual favor. We've drawn so few cards in the last like 5 turns. So I think we face check R&D. We let this fire. I guess we get the Bockland down first and we face check R&D. Verbal would have drawn Bugalter by now. I honestly don't mind Verbal. I think Verbal's reasonable. It's just like very comparable to Earthrise. Is FR for real? For real? Oh man, Ice Wall tech. We don't put a frac there. We play against the Ice Wall deck. Oh man, that feels so bad. Do we want to de-res this? No, this is the beginning of the end. That is so bad. Not be cool, be cool, be cool, be cool, be cool. So we could lose here. I don't know how to say. Yeah, dude up. Oh, it's a Rashida sick. So we lose as soon as they draw into a sprint, right? Should have believed. Yeah, it doesn't really change the turn too bad. Right, like the problem is now we can't deal with Ice Wall. Like the only way that our deck breaks Ice Wall is the Yamakua. All right, manual Rashida. Got any more pinholes? I think we lost 2 of them. Yeah, we lost 2 early. We drew our early hand at a pinhole and a half. So we don't. Pinhole's good. Pinhole is a nice way that we actually can get leech. No, you can morally get Almakua counters. You can't really get leech. I think this is the winning agenda. He's jammed so many other things in our mode server, but like, so this is the problem. Like our deck fundamentally right now is struggling to get through 2 ice. I think in standard, if your deck can't deal with 2 ice on turn 14, you have an issue, right? Like you kind of have a problem. And that's why I really hate playing decks that like are not fundamentally very strong. Not that this one isn't exactly. It's just like you find yourself in situations where it's like, well, this is something that most basic decks could do. 2 ice walls loss. What does FR mean? All right, so we know that's an Ivic. If he reses the Ivic, it's probably fine for us. We get leech off of pinhole. Oh yeah, we do too. Right, because it's still a successful round essential. At least we don't regret discarding hunting grounds. Not yet. Again, we thought there'd be IP block. It's a swordsman instead. It is for real, for real. Okay. All right. So there's Maviruses in here. Mavirus says, when the runner access upgrade, if the runner is res, do net damage. Okay. So we can run archives, get an Amakua counter. We won't get the leech counter because it'll be purged. Matroyshka would save you the trouble? I don't think so. It would be more better than Amakua here, but I don't think we'd be able to afford paying like the fact that we get through Anansi from 3 is kind of the benefit, right? But like, hey, I think at this point we'd maybe see 2 Matryoshka, maybe 3. I think this has to be it, right? Okay, so what's the plan? We probably need to get the Bugalter down. That costs us 7 on top of it, so we need 10 credits. So we have 3 credits to play. If he reses this Ivic for maybe 6, mind you, we'll get 2. Yeah, Matrios also can't deal with swordsman yet, but neither can this. We run here. What is this? This could be like, it's probably a code gate because we haven't seen any. So what code gate can we break? Thimble Rig. And I know Canister was playing Thimble Rig when he was playing another deck on his channel. So if it's a Thimble Rig, that's like a really bad install into Amakua, mind you, but maybe we could also de-res anything that is 2. Okay, the other thing is also we have to access with 4 cards in hand, but otherwise like we could run archives, install Bugalter, run R&D, run back, that's bad too. Bockland to deal with outer ice, but it has to be like 2 strength. Like that's not gonna happen unless it's a, like I think it's a magnet maybe. So this always comes down. We could bounce ice wall, run. The problem is like no matter what, that play doesn't deal with resing an Ivic. And if he reses an Ivic, he's on 4, which means like he still does advance seamless and wins. So we need him to res this and the Ivic, but I feel like if we don't like have a way to deal with the Ivic tranquilizer, we are in a really bad spot. We have a boomerang. We have 1 boomerang in the deck and we lost it. Yeah, we lost it. It's down here, but I think we only have 1. I wonder if like leave no trace or like inside job would also be good too. Yeah. Yeah. 3 ice walls, 3 palisade, 3 ping would absolutely crush the slow stack. It would be really bad. It'd be very funny. It's really funny how bad good palisade is into the 419 deck I've been playing. It's really bad. So I think we try and win off centrals. I don't think we can win this. So I think the play is we can get 2 more accesses with this. I don't think we do. I think we run R&D, we run HQ, which means we have to start by running archives, or we can start D-res ice wall, run, get an access here. Then we'll have enough counters. We run HQ. Yeah, I think we try and win off centrals. I'm straight up going to D-res an ice wall. I don't care. Buy. Value. I like the red outline. You don't see that a lot. This is the type of deck that should probably have 3 boomerangs, especially with 0 fractors. I don't know. How's it going, Sweet? It's hard on slots. Like, I think maybe inside jot or leave no trace guys there. Singles for the wingles. Yeah, that's good enough. We need to break this fully. It's free, admittedly. Not that we're not going to break another sentry again, but like we need access with 4 to hit what's it called off the top. We know to send a message, but probably Obokata, right? Yes, he has all the barrier tech. Oh no, he has all the hot barrier tech. Oh, that's so bad for us. All right, we're going HQ. We're going on HQ twice. That's so bad. That's really funny. We also have to, like, we can't just let the swordsman fire for like multiple reasons. The deck has palisades. You're gonna see a ping here somewhere. Oh man, that's sick. So we're expecting to win or lose this turn. So we're gonna just... I was confused for a second. We need to keep this around. Hard counting the Shaper decks on 1x propeller. For real though. Like, it's kind of neat. It feels like old Netrunner. Seamless, that's a nightmare. So how many points? We're expecting 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 more points within these 15 plus 5 cards. So I think we just go HQ again and hope. Yeah, no one expected. Most Jinteki decks have no barriers. This is, I think, is the most barriers I've seen in any deck, let alone a Jinteki deck. It's wild. It's like it's working, right? There's only a small chance we don't lose here, but I think we probably lose. But like, we drew so little. We got enough money off flow. Oh man, I did not deserve that. You have it in the remote. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. All right, we're gonna see a res all. So there's an agenda in the remote server. It's a mind game, so a code gate we can't deal with. So we just win a side game. That's fine. And yeah. So it's in the remote server. Yeah, it's funny. I still just can't win against that Ivic. That 21 credit Ivic. Did you say earlier this will likely be your last Twitch stream? Yeah, Scrub. We can't simul stream anymore. Again, I know you watch the same streamer that I do, so you know these issues are coming up. That we can't simul stream on Twitch and YouTube anymore. That was very expensive, yeah. The Mavirus play is probably worth rezzing, I think. As broke as you get, you can organize the top 5 of your deck, so you can convert into a Seamless, or Rashida, or whatever you need. Yeah, that's a big line against Turtle. You're so set up against Turtle. Twitch equals cringe. 24 runs and 29 accesses, including archives. I think you hit your ratios. Yeah, barely though. Like, this did not feel powerful. Like, we were struggling. This feels like, you know, one of the first decks you build where you're just struggling to get purchase. It's 11:30. Oh, I want to build another deck. Are you going to simul stream till banned? No, I think I'm just going to not try and get the channel banned. Yeah, hey, good game. Next game. Yeah, I've never played against Eric so far. Play more lows. Yeah, we'll do one more. Oh, man. Okay, hold on. We're going to do a really quick low stack because we don't have time to do a lot of deck building, and we're going to just build into the D-Res package, okay? So we are going to play Matroyshka. We're going to play the minimal breaker suite. So we're going to do new deck. I have one more slot. This is the last Netrunner. Got liberated is real bad here. Yeah, it was bad. It was no way around. It was bad. I I didn't even think about that, but it's so unfortunate for streamers like yourself. Yeah, I know. It's like, choose what channel you want to be on it. And Twitch, you're not winning that one. If you stream Netrunner, one of us streams you, what happens? Oh, D, that's such a good idea. I'm not simul streaming. If someone streams me, that's not me. That's sick. So all we need is like the German translation stream. And like it does a really bad job so I can still understand it. Like it's like 90% English, but then you just do like pronouns in German. Okay, let's do this really quickly. So let's play, well, we want to basically be run every one turn and then derez stuff. And then that's our thing. So we're going to play 2 copies of Kyros McIntyre. We're going to be setting up, sitting back and clicking and then just running and poking and derezing them. It's going to be bad. So what do we want? We want all the AI we can get because all we're going to have is AI. Oh, this feels really bad. So Amakua 3x, Leech 3x, 1 Bugalter because it's good enough, 1 Cradle because it's good enough. And then there you also play Matroyshka 6x and then you don't install them. We'll do 5 because I don't think we need it that bad. It's just dubbed bad German accent, live commentary on a stream on YouTube. Yeah, if someone just does like an MST3K of the stream, like we'll be fine. We can rescue it. Okay, Bravado. I think we're going to sitting back. So we're going to be clicking resources, doing stuff like that. Wrong Cradle. Oh, such a wrong Cradle. Good shout. The second Cradle, not this Cradle. This Cradle is cool though. Maybe I can stream you. You're streaming the artifact section. You just got to hide it. All right. So then we're going to play, not Spot the Prey. We're going to play, I guess Pinhole. Yeah. We're going to play Mutual Favor. Doesn't seem necessary anymore. We're going to play this one. Leave no trace. Make a run when the run ends. Derez all ice that was res during this run. Disastrous 3x. We're just going to keep going. Dustmag to get the arms dealer, bro. I don't know which one that is. Which one is that? Geist? We can do shutdown 2x, I guess. Diversion seems important. We're in an econ denial deck. We'll play gambles. We'll go from there. We're going to sit back and get all our money. Dirty laundry. Okay. Keep going. What do you mean? Okay. Boomerang 2. We're going to do 3 flip switch. No, 2 flip switch. Let's be reasonable. Then what else do we have? We're going to derez. So we're going to play 3 copies of the Rubicon. So this is X credits, derez, 1 piece of ice, 1 printed res cost X that was res this turn, uses ability once per turn. So this is going to give us a lot of value because when we derez, we get money. When they res, we get money. That's all we do. So this seems pretty cool. We're going to play 3 of because we need it in our opening hand. I don't know if there's any other way to boost this. There's no thing that will give us recurring credits to use this ability, right? Yeah. Leave no trace is the hardest Gordian blade question ever. Oh, what's his name? I don't know if we play him. Maybe, I don't know. I think we'd just play generic card draw would be better. I know who you're talking about. I just never remember his name. He's a cool dude though. Okay, we also need a win condition. So how do we generate enough credits to access? So let's play like 3 Chesva. This is going to look really ugly. Twinning, we're on 48 cards. How have we done this? Target snakes. Oh, I don't know if the snake is good enough. It's Asmund Pula, yeah. So Bachlan seemed good. Okay, obviously this is going to be too big and we're going to cut it down really quickly. I don't think we need Asmund. I think we just need good card draw, like reasonable card draw. It doesn't matter what it is. Hernando is okay, but I'm hoping that they don't have a lot of money. If they do, this would actually been really good in the last matchup. Imagine paying 6 more credits for that ice that kept getting rezzed. Info Bounty I kind of like it gives us a reason to run. We don't have a console yet. Penny Shaver X2. Xanadu is like kind of interesting, but Xanadu only is the res cost of each ice by 1. So cards like this are really difficult. We do play Deuces 3x. Okay, what else do we want? Class Act 2. Red team actually kind of makes sense. I think the version I was playing was on 3x red team, just because it's one of the cards that like gives you value whether they res or don't res. You don't want to run that much, mind you, because Rubicon Switch once it gives you 1 good run a turn, so I don't think that's right. And this is a 59 card nightmare, so we have to cut this down a bit. So how do we get money? We need to get a lot of money. So I think we cut down on the twinnings and we just play full prison. We just need a big loss. No, I'm not doing that. We need to play like big money, like sit back, get money. Just play 59. Do you know how hard it was? Imagine we didn't top deck our like 1 in 21 Bugalter, how bad we won. Red team doesn't give me actually better value than running and clicking for creds. I don't think that's true. Go on, Andre, keep going. This seems reasonable. That's too many resources, obviously. We don't need the boomerang. We're gonna be derezzing everything. Chesville Leech, this is too much. I hate the twinning. How do we get a better multi-axis? How do we get better multi-axis that isn't the twinning? like Conduit, but then we get purged out. These decks don't play win cons. I think you're not wrong. Stargate, yeah, we have an MU issue for Stargate. Just a 2-cost hardware from Core. Wake, I don't like Wake. Yeah, okay, we'll play Wake. Okay, so we just need to get all the money in the world because this card is really expensive. So we have to, you mean Docklands. Like, I think Docklands is probably good. Yeah, Docklands is, no, we'll play Wake. Okay, we just need to cut like at least 10 cards. So no Pinhole, not a problem. Never a problem. Career Fair targets, casts, Liberated, Class Act. We can cut 1. We can probably cut 2. Do we want to play, how much card draw do we have? We have no Earthrise. Clickless card draw is really good for the deck. So we'll play Earthrise. So we'll play 3 Career Fair. We'll start cutting things. So Bravado, Deuces, Diversion, Emergency Shutdown, Leave No Trace, Sure Gamble. We can consider cutting the Emergency Shutdown. FTT and Docklands is probably the best. You Find the Truth is nice. We just can't run a lot because Rubicon Switch like really punishes you for running more than once. Swap Libs for Diesel. I think we really need Libs. I think Rubicon Switch is like really important. And if we were going to do that, we would swap them for what's her name? Nuka, I think, as opposed to Diesel. I think Nuka's just good enough speed. I think Kyros seems good enough. I think the math on Kyros is messed up. Find the Truth. Yeah, Find the Truth is cheap too. Okay, but we're 61 cards. Are we really going to play this? Like, what is this draw like? In the interest in time, like maybe we have to play a 65 card deck. That's a really good hand. Are we back to Liberated? Because we're going to be a slower deck. Cut Cheswa? Yeah, easy. I like that. Kind of. Wait, these hands are good. Well, this one is a bit bad, but... Xanadu, Rubicon, DJ Reyna as a combo? By the time you set that up, you've lost the game. Cut Matryoshka. I think cutting Matryoshka actually makes sense. Do you know what I think I want to play in this deck? The one that lets you expose in a remote server. Because we have no Pinhole anymore. Class Act Liberate. Like, if they quad ice everything, what do we do? Like, if they ice up all centrals, excuse me. We'll cut Cortez, not important. No Cat? What's Cat? Daig? We want to play Daig? I'll play Daig. Spot the Prey? Spot the Prey is really bad. No, you'd play Falsified. Yeah, you'd play Falsified Credentials before Spot the Play. This is drawing okay, though. Like, besides the fact that the card draw is really bad. Oh, Cat's Cradle. Yeah, Cat's Cradle is probably not important. I don't see any matchup. Like, this is... yeah, we cut that. Like, we're really bad into triple advanced Whoredom, whatever. That's not a real thing. Credit, Liberated Class Act, draw 5. Yeah. I can't wait to get mushed by an ice wall again. Yeah, but you de-res it for a credit. You make money. You literally make money. Okay, this is good enough, right? Okay, last. It says lost. It's fine. We'll do this. 2x Leave No Trace. I'm gonna try this. Kyros is literally never getting installed. I think you underestimate how good Kyros is. Kyros says gain 2 credits a turn. Now, the game is going to be going so slow that we're going to be able to Rubicon every single turn. I saw Los deck playing against Sokka was building the same. Just joined. Thanos, how's it going? Yeah, I did see that deck. That person was playing like 3 Paperclip, but it was like very, very similar to this sort of list where it was just like fundamentals, a bit of multi-access, a bit of D-res. And then Sokka was playing a very slow bad ID that was like a very honest Netrunner deck. And I think that's the sort of like matchup where we really shine. I forget what the name was. Do you need all 3x Rubicons? Definitely not, but I want to see it consistently to see what it does. But it's the sort of thing that like definitely gets optimized down to 1 or 2. But it's like, if we queue up for this game at 11:35 and we don't play Rubicon, like that's a pretty bad thing to be doing. Because I just want to play Rubicon, so I'm gonna play as many as I can. Yeah, it was Hyobu. Yeah, because him and Bridgman are playing like bad IDs at a tournament to see what they can get with them. And I think Sokka has Hyobu, and the Hyobu deck like looks fine. Like it doesn't look like it does anything particularly better than any other option, but it looks playable. Between 0 and -1 prop, correct? No. 3 is good. Three's fine. Yeah, I'm excited to see what those two players come up with those decks though. Like I think the Hyobu deck is actually interesting because it's like really incentivized to play some of the stranger cards and do something okay with them. With Shaper, like, I don't know. I think the 3 Chesva Shaper core is like kind of reasonable if you want to be as aggressive. I think Chesva is pretty good. Con and Spark. Okay, Spark I don't care about because I don't think like Spark is kind of, I'm gonna say this and Bridgman is gonna do something really cool, but like Spark to me, the way I look at it is like it's kind of set up to fail because it's just a bit of an econ tax, right? And like a lot of the other NBN asset IDs do that inherently, right? Like if CTM fires once, that's generally a better econ tax than most of what Spark can do, and it really over a couple turns. Now, admittedly, Spark has some cool interactions where they can do it turn 1, they can do it mid run, they can mess your math up, stuff like that. But like that one's harder. But Akiko like technically does something interesting. Khan does something very interesting. Hyobu is just an econ engine. I would get sync. Yo, I looked up sync decks and like there has been like there's this huge jump where sync decks get like published up to 2018, and there's a huge void of sync decks that just no one's published sync decks for a really long time. We played Sync on stream maybe a month ago, and like the reality with Sync is it's just worse reality plus. It's just worse reality plus, unfortunately. I don't think Khan has Link. I think Khan strictly doesn't have Link for someone who's called a Skip Tracer. Yeah, Khan has no Link. Skip Tracer, no Link. Weird. Sokka's Hyobu seemed the closest to generic Polana. Yeah, it seemed like playable. It seemed like a comfort deck. Like it didn't do anything absurd. It had some undercurve cards that like you're trying to squeeze some value from, but like it looked playable. Rando Arkham question of the week. Who's a good investigator to complement Stella in a Forgotten Age campaign? I'm leaning hybrid Mystic based on Analyze Chris's recommendation. I think it's pretty reasonable. If you want a bit of mild spoilers for Forgotten Age, let me know. Like to tell you what stats are worth pursuing. But if you want to keep like Mystic is pretty general, and then Stella is pretty general, so that works relatively well. There are some stats that I think are more valued, and inherently, I'm guessing Evade is good. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Inherently, like it's the first cycle and the first set that like really promoted not just murdering everything. So just having good evasion and enemy evasion or enemy ways to deal with enemy that's not murder is actually pretty good. All right, if this is the asset list, we're in a bad spot. Opening hand, no good. Thanks, you too. I retconned that for myself. Yeah, I know, Rob. You retconned it the way we all wanted it to. So if this is like Man in the Moon's list, I think we're in a really bad spot because we have no missed bones. We don't have strong economy. They don't have a lot of ice. Are we going to mulligan this? That's not better. That's worse. Assuming Stella will play into agility to evade and also clue finding. You're looking for a fighter type. If you want a Mystic, then Agnes or Akichi. Yeah, Akichi's good. The problem is like Akichi's like kind of boring. Like Akichi doesn't do anything. Akichi has solid stats. Like Akichi is never going to be bad, but Akichi also isn't doing anything. Khan will be tough compared to Akiko. I think Khan is going to be tough compared to Akiko Diogene, but I think Khan is going to be interesting potentially. Let's just face check this. I don't know what this could be. I don't want to lose 2 credits. Admittedly, we get the money back. We face check perfectly into Afshars. They don't res. This looks like it is Man in the Moon's list. That is a really good steal off of an open HQ. Why not go back? I think we can play this first. We probably should have first because this gains some amount of value. Feels bad. But a lot of times people don't want to res. Yeah. Does Man in the Moon's list have that? That's a really good combo. Everything up to TCU, Jacqueline, and Stella. Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good start. Now, the deck is running CityWorks, Aziev, and then probably an Above the Law. I'm missing some points there. But this deck wants to be spamming out. It's also the deck that wants to be on low credits because it's running, you know, the one that does net damage. We'll check at least one of them. Time to steal 6 and die to Punitive. I don't think anyone's playing Punitive. Yeah, this seems to be the list. So we have to let that one ride. At least we can't take a net damage if they res it. But yeah, this is a very competitive deck potentially. But their opening is not often how this deck opens. So I think there's a chance we might be okay. They're drawing up a lot. Like you just want to be spamming assets. All right, let's draw once. Deuces. We'll draw 2. How much money we have? We can expose this and make a run. We'll be accessing with 4 credits. I think we can afford to do that. We want to know what this is. It's probably, oh, it is an Afshar. Okay. So again, not a great run. Or res, excuse me. It's a hostile. So if we trash this, their economy's gutted. We take 2 meat damage. I don't think we're in a rush to trash that. Now the deck is running a 3 forma carries, so we have some value getting the what's it called down. Here though, we could maybe lose a net damage or lose a damage to I'm gonna get that down so they don't res here. The one that does 1 net damage. What is it called? Bladderwort? Yeah, Bladderwort. Trail line die. I don't think a list has that, but this does look like a Man in the Moon's list. Akichi would be quite good out of that. Nothing fancy, but good mystic cards. Good for blind play of a campaign. I think if you have Jackie though, Jackie is just strictly better Akichi and more fun. Jacqueline is just not only like more consistent and more fun, you get to play with some weirder cards because Jackie has good control over what tokens she pulls, but she also can use her ability on other people on the table, which is like just really great. All right, Drudge Work to shuffle back Aziev. I think we can lose this hand pretty easily. So they don't have economy, so we want to trash 3 things this turn. So let's start here. This is going to fire no matter what, so it doesn't matter the order. It's a Sviator. A Sviatagor, excuse me. We probably want to trash that, but if we trash everything else on their table, it doesn't get that much value. This is where Miss Bones is really good, but here we're just doing our, oh, we kept a Rubicon, that's cool. And this thing's actually worth trashing because not only is it an economy card, but it is, it gives them a something to Sviatagor, let alone do other stuff. It becomes a 1. I was thinking about Jacqueline. Hillary and I played Excelsior, which is dope with me on Jackie and her on Stella. Maybe we should just stick with those 2. Hillary really digs Stella. They're both really fun. They're like welcome to ones are, I think like that's the thing is a lot of the earlier designs are a bit more, you know, straightforward. And I think as straightforward as the learn to play ones are, they're a fair bit more interesting. Okay. We just don't want to get locked by Bladderworts. This deck also has hard hitting news. So like this was a really good install. We might take some net damage here. We install this, we go down to 2 credits and we can't play Sure Gamble for sure. So I think we're just going to draw up once here. While R&D is wide open, the biggest thing here is that we stick our economy. I think we actually want to run HQ. If they res, we're happy because we gain nothing. They can't res. So actually, I don't know. An Axis here is reasonable. Oh, okay. We actually could get harding used. Forgot that they're playing those. And the deck is on 3 boom. Okay. Yeah. There's an argument to res only the wall to wall. The net damage is nice. We lost the class act. That's not great. Funny enough, if we're worried about playing around economic warfare, we could boost our Begalter to 4 strength to duck to 3. But yeah, this is not going to show off the deck at all, unfortunately. This is just an asset matchup. Click for credit. Okay. Damn. So we need to trash that. Basically, all we want to do is trash the entire board because if they have no money, they have no money. We have to do that at the same time, though, as respecting. That's really good. Hard hitting news. So if we keep their money down, it's at least harder for them to hard hitting news us. Rashida on the table could be pretty rough. I think we're just going to trash everything here. Now here, I'm going to boost 1 strength just so they can't economic warfare us down to 0. Ah, fuck. Keep our penny shaver, please. Great. Yeah, important to know that you can always boost breakers at any paid ability window. Icing Archives is a bit strange, but a lot of times that's a forma carry, so it just moves. All right, well, we just gotta keep our credits up. So we probably just draw up. We don't want to let that fire. They haven't fired a Spin Doctor yet, but we've trashed a lot of their stuff. We know it's a Sviatagor. They also could, if they wanted to be very aggressive, like res the Sviatagor to trash something like a Bladderwort to be able to get a Spin Doctor on the table, something like that. Let's draw. Let's draw. We'll run server 7. We need 3 to trash this. If they res ice here, we'll probably have enough money too. Like, I don't know what they can res here. A Tithe maybe, an Ice Wall. Yeah, so it's a forma carry. That's fine. We actually make money off of this. So if we want to break it, it gains us a credit. So we actually gained 3 credits by this play. 2 for the res, 1 for the break. So that's an unfortunate interaction if you're playing to lows. Here I don't want to click for credit because we play into economic warfare. But now we're just going to click for 4 credits for a bit. Really wanted a window there to get the penny shaver down. They res this fee, so they can sell the forma carry at least to get a 1 coster. So they can get like a, what's it called? Well, any of the economy cards, but specifically also an urban renewal, what we have to deal with. That's the last Bladderwort. Yeah. We gotta trash that one soon. I think Begolter was bugged to have an extra strength there. Was it? Oh yeah, you're right, it was. Yeah. We would just use the leech counter. Because I think we need money there, but yeah, that was weird. This is why you play misbones and everything, right? Draw. That's useless. So run server 7. Maybe they res here again. We gain 2 credits. So far, our ability's got 2 credits. This is where like you play 419, am I right? Kept it from the boost to duck. Oh, it kept it from the boost. Super cool. Yeah, you're right, because I boosted it kept the strength. Oh, that's exactly it. Yeah, it's boost outside of JNet doesn't restrict better spending credit. Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, I'll be honest. This is not the game I wanted to queue in at 11:45. So yeah, this is not going to show off any part of our deck. We lost our Rubicons. This is just an acid denial deck. So like we've gotten 4 credits so far. I think you just play 4-9 to anything and are a bit happier than Los, or a lot happier. We've gotten a lot of value off of Los so far, but like the idea is if we build a deck that like swings into it with like a bit of a de-risk package, it feels a bit better. So we have to trash the Svitha Gore because that gives them burst money. So I think we just run HQ here. Maybe that's Rashida. It's actually worth checking. But they've drawn a lot, like 28 cards. There's definitely agendas in here, or that card that's been there forever. So I guess I think we have to check server 8. I'm more worried that that's a Rashida than letting this Svi fire. Yeah, okay. We probably should just like bite the bullet and put down our Penny Shaver. This is also a thing too, like where we're not playing Stargate or anything, it's hard for us to generate pressure off centrals to close the game on our terms, which like against a lot of times against this matchup, you want to just smother it, which again, that's why Hoshiko is really important. You get that clickless card draw every turn for credit. Yeah, and now they're at the point where we're probably going to get hard hitting used, and I think that's going to be it. All right, well, we'll run HQ. I've given up on on trashing the board. Okay, that fires. The thing is, the longer we don't deal with the board, the sooner like we're gonna die to something. Credit's really bad because they have economic warfare. I think we misplayed that turn. We probably should have done credit and Penny Shaver. We can't really threaten much, right? Like we have no breaker. Server 9 and server 10. We can check these. Like, what do we know? Do we know any of these? We just have to make sure Rashida doesn't land. We're trashing Spin Doctor 2 on 2 credits. Yeah, I think we have 0 tech in this deck besides Penny Shaver, so I don't think I want to play this. Wall to wall, okay. So they have 1 coming off the top. We'll just find a Rashida if anything. That's a Svi, okay. I think I might concede this. I don't want to play this one much longer, right? Yeah, I think I'm done. Hey. Yeah, this is not the matchup we want to be playing. Hey, good game. Thanks for the game. Yeah, it's not going to show off any part of our deck, and it's going to be an absolute grind of a game. No, it's no worries. But that is Man of the Moon's deck that won the last AMT. So you find on JNet, it's pretty likely going to be the deck list of the week. And I think that's actually a really big deal when it comes to like playing on JNet casual, is understanding what it's going to look like. Because this is going to be the deck list of the week next week, almost definitely. So buckle up. So when you're playing your janky low stack onto JNet casual, like there's a huge reason to be playing like 2 misbones and everything, right? And let alone like ways to deal with hard hitting news. Oh, there's only 2 hard hitting news in the deck. Actually, then we can play a bit more aggressively considering it doesn't have ways to pull this. We're here for Rubicon, yeah, and unfortunately it's 11:50, so I don't think we're going to see Rubicon today at all. But yeah, this thing we just need to like, we can with Mad Dash win off centrals relatively quickly if we like push for it, but largely if you just keep down their assets, like that's it. The deck has no economy. So if you just keep down their assets, they're fine. At some point, they transition to CityWorks advance on the table, and it's hard to deal with that. But if you just put down like, you know, the modicum of you know, economy, and then you just play Misbones, like you're in a pretty good spot against this thing. So I'm not too stressed about it, but it's not the deck that we're playing here. Unfortunately, that's how this stream ends, and probably maybe our last stream on Twitch, which like, oh man, that's so bad. I really can't believe they're doing that. And I'm really wondering if there's going to be pushback on that. So unfortunate. So next week, we'll definitely be streaming at least on YouTube. I can't promise much more than that. So if you're watching on Twitch and you're interested in watching more Métropole Grid live this time, as you might be used to, if you want to head over to YouTube and hit that follow button, hit that bell notification, it'll push you when we go live. Yeah. Twitch and Reddit getting really greedy lately. Yeah, it's kind of how it is. Once you're like the majority platform, you can kind of do whatever you want. And specifically, like, I don't know. I honestly don't know if Twitch is profitable. It might not be. Not that this is going to make, that's the thing. Like, this doesn't make a big change. Like, it just hurts competitors, right? Like, I'm not making money. Well, I guess I am technically making money for Twitch. I'm not getting, Twitch is profitable. I'm surprised. I feel like this sort of thing that's just like attached to Amazon. So like, it doesn't matter if it's profitable or not. I'll see you over there. It's been a good run here. Hey, Speakeasy, I appreciate it. How's it going, by the way? So that's that. We'll be back in a week. What do we have to shout out? Yeah, again, all the links will be in the description. But if you're coming down to Montreal at the end of the month, August 26th, at the end of August, the end of the summer month, we have an event. You want to sign up, register. We'll see you there. Really excited to see some Canadian nationals. But that's a whiles away, so we'll remind you about that. Have a good night, Andre. Catch you on YouTube. YouTube. Take care, y'all. Shout out to all the people we played games against today. Shout out to everyone hanging out in chat. And of course, if you're enjoying the VOD, hopefully you're doing well. We'll see you in a bit.